hostages at once if Israel pulls all its troops out of Gaza. Meanwhile, Fox's Greg Palcott reports from Tel Aviv.
Israel's preparing for a somber day tomorrow when Hamas is set to release 4 bodies of hostages they have held. The militant group said among them would be Shiri Bibas and her 2 red-headed toddlers. The youngsters have become the symbols of the horrors of the hostage-taking. On Saturday, the final 6 living hostages from the first phase of the ceasefire deal are set to be freed.
Elon Musk is defending Doge, telling Fox's Hannity the Department of Government Efficiency has one goal, slashing spending.
All we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people through the president.
Democrats call Musk out of control, acting illegally, but a federal judge rejected an attempt to block Doge from getting access to federal agencies. The Washington Post reports the next round of Trump layoffs may hit the Defense Department. It's frigid in the Midwest, with below zero temperatures and wind chills, Montana down to Texas.
It's cold for over 90 million people, and we're going to have potential record lows. That's how cold it is. This is an Arctic air mass.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean, there are also winter storm warnings or advisories. Arkansas up to New Jersey with snow and ice forecast. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Cold and light snow. That's what's on radar right now. 14 degrees on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. That's the forecast for the next 24 hours or so.
Well, we're probably looking at about a 6-7 hour period where it's generally light snow. And with as cold as it's going to be, that snow is going to be fluffy, so it'll be able to accumulate relatively easily.
Mike Ryan with the National Weather Service. He says it remains cold until the end of the work week. Sunday is when temps will get back into the 40s. In the meantime, this morning's commute has been riddled with crashes because of the snow and cold. Matt Baer will have more coming up from the WYBC Traffic Center. A man from southern Indiana is in jail accused of threatening Elon Musk's life on X. State police say they were contacted by authorities in Texas about threats to kill Musk made on the social media platform by David Sherry. He was tracked down in Clarksville and arrested. He's now charged with intimidation. 4 people were shot on the northeast side of Indy Tuesday. John Herrick reports.
The shooting happened on Wallace Avenue near East 38th Street and Emerson Avenue at around 12:15.
So in summary, there were a total of 4 individuals, all believed to be adult males. 1 is deceased inside a house, 1 in critical condition, 2 in stable condition.
IMPD Captain Shane Foley also said there could be more than 1 suspect, and they need help from the public finding everyone involved. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A bill passed by the state Senate on Tuesday may end up kicking thousands of people off of Medicaid. The bill is an effort to address the state's Medicaid funding shortfall.
We're spending more on Medicaid alone than the percentage of our total revenue.
State Senator Ryan Mishler, who wrote the bill, it would impose work requirements and cap the number of people who can enroll in the Healthy Indiana plan. The Purdue Boilermakers are in a bad way now in their chase for a Big Ten title. They lost to Michigan State 75-66 in East Lansing last night. That's now 3 losses in a row. They have Indiana in Bloomington on Sunday. Traffic on the 5s. Take your time, Matt Baer.
All right, Kurt, looking at Hendricks County, eastbound 70 before State Road 267. That's a rolled semi-trailer blocking 2 left lanes, stopping traffic. Back to State Road 39, delay time just under an hour at 57 minutes. I'm trying US 40 instead. Boone County, southbound 65 at Whitestown Parkway. Crash has closed 2 left lanes, stopping traffic to Lebanon exit 138. That's several miles. Southbound 65 still jammed up from 38th Street Kessler Boulevard to 21st because of earlier crashes that have cleared, and another crash coming out of the north split. Northbound 65 closing the right lane, stopping us through the north split all the way back to southbound South Keystone Avenue if you're coming up northbound 65. Again, that jam is from the north split to South Keystone Avenue. Westbound 70 loaded up from Shadeland Avenue into the north split. We also have a crash going eastbound 70 on the east side. This is after Arlington Avenue, blocking the left lane, causing a slowdown there, and a traffic hazard eastbound 70 at Rural. That is a disabled vehicle on the entrance ramp. Hancock County slowing down on westbound 70 from State Road 9 past Fortville Pike. Crash on the east side, serious, 38th near Shadeland. That's injury and entrapment. Traffic sponsored by PureTalk.com. It's time to ditch big wireless. Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month under 5G network. Dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now. to save 50% off your first month. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
You can trust your flush to us. Howald Plumbers are the best in the business. Water heaters, leaky faucets or toilets, sump pumps, drain lines. Howald Plumbers keep water flowing. Howald Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing, where coming home never felt so good.
Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Book your custom patio project before March 1st and save up to $2,500. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Morning flurries, otherwise cloudy and cold through the afternoon. Today's high 20. Evening snow showers up to an inch of accumulation possible after dinner time. A low down to 6, wind chills 10 below. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8's Marcus Bailey, 93 WIBC.
It is 14 degrees on Monument Circle. Some spotty showers from snow on radar. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Okay, look.
What?
We got to get to this tweet last night from the Duke of Spendingburg.
Yeah, he's so proud of himself.
What a shameless, insufferable human being he is. But before we do that.
Yeah.
Can I just have a moment?
Please.
To talk about how, for some reason, every time there is any hint or speck of inclement weather, people just lose all common sense and seemingly forget how to drive their automobiles.
What are you talking about? What happened?
So it took me, it's normally a 30-minute trip in. It took me an hour and 10 minutes to get into work this morning.
Oh, wow.
And I only made it then because I found a quick detour when there was a backup on 70. Abdul, Jim Merritt, and I, because we tape State House Happenings on Wednesday mornings, all coming in from different parts of the city, similar commutes in, all of us, and I was the first one in.
Yeah.
I beat the rest of them in. So it took them longer than it took me. That means every corner of the city had incompetent drivers who cannot properly operate automobiles with it wasn't like this was Snowmageddon. This wasn't the blizzard of 78. There was a dusting.
Right.
Dusting.
It's just a little bit. Well, the roads were a little slippery. You know why? Because there's ice underneath that dusting that still hasn't been plowed.
Just like I'm looking at this go, what I get, you slow down, right? I get that. I understand I'm not going to do it in 30 minutes. Another 10 minutes? Fine.
Yeah.
No problem. But an extra 40 minutes?
Yeah.
There was no reason for that. And the fact that it was happening to all three of us, all coming
It wasn't just you.
It's just
all different directions.
Unbelievable.
Well, good for you. You got to spend a little extra time with Tony Katz this morning in the car.
Well, he had some sort of technical problem and said, I would have loved to have known been in that studio with him. I don't know if a baseball bat, I picture him being like Robert De Niro in the Capone movie with whatever wasn't working for him, but Carl had to take over at one point. You had a fun venture into work today.
While you got to spend some extra time with Tony Katz in your car, I got to spend some time with a dirty sock. And when I say,
there's a genre for that, Casey.
When I say dirty, this may be it, Rob. This may be the segment that sends me home.
What happened?
Talking about a poop sock.
A what?
A poop sock.
Okay, so you did not have the issues I had because you live 5 minutes from the radio station.
Yeah, I got here in my normal amount of time.
Right.
But when I did get here.
Yeah, what happened?
I went in, like I always do, through the garage elevator. There's 2 sets of elevators in the building. There's the garage elevator, which is open to the public, and then there's the inside the building elevators, which you have to access with a key card.
Sure, right.
So I have to go through the public elevator to get to the private elevator.
Now, most of our audience knows I stopped using the public elevator because I kept getting trapped in them.
Right.
And so I now just walk to where there is a side door in the garage where you can just use a key card. It takes longer to walk, but at least I'm not trapped in the elevator.
I was trapped in the elevator with a poop sock this morning.
What do you mean with a poop sock?
So the door's open and there's somebody standing there and he kind of steps out of the way and I go to move around him and I see while he's standing right in front of the door because on the other side of the elevator, there's some fast food napkins.
Right.
You can pick them out. They're square. They're
Sure.
thin. There's a random Band-Aid wrapper. And then there's a pair of pants, a dirty pair of pants, crumpled. And next to the dirty pair of pants, the sock.
So let's try to, when a detective will come on the scene, he will try to recreate the crime. So at some point, someone appears to have enjoyed some sort of fast food adventure. They had an injury of some sort, either before or after the fast food endeavor. And maybe because or not because, but at some point they just had to relieve themselves in the elevator.
Correct.
They did attempt to at least clean themselves.
Correct. And then they left their waste.
Which is kind of crazy because there's a trash can right outside those elevators where you could have just thrown that away.
They were in a hurry. And let me tell you something. The smell in the elevator was disgusting.
Now, do you think the guy who was getting off the elevator, was he perhaps the culprit?
I don't think so. He was wearing pants.
Oh, he was wearing pants. Yes.
He had a coat on. He had a scarf on.
Because the sock user did leave evidence behind at the scene.
Yes.
The pants.
Some pants.
The
sock.
Yeah.
The guy that was in the elevator really didn't want to make eye contact with me, so I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
This isn't 0%.
Well, but he may have, walked onto that like you did, and if the door was shut, then he was encapsulated inside the stench chamber.
Yeah, he was held hostage in there as well. And so the door's open, and he went to get out. He kind of looked around and realized that wasn't the floor he wanted, so he stepped back in.
Oh, no, I would have just kept walking.
And then I pressed the button again to get to the level that I wanted to get to.
Yeah.
And the doors finally open, and I ran out of that elevator.
Yeah.
It was absolutely disgusting.
All right, while we got this, I wasn't going to do this, but since we're just airing grievances about commutes into work, can I just point out one other thing?
Yeah.
And you are in the lower level, so there are 2 levels to the garage. The VIP people are the lower level. Kev, are you a lower level person in the garage?
Yeah, I'm usually. Yeah,
How did
I'm lower
you get
level.
to be a lower level person? I have never been a lower level person.
When I became full time, they gave me access.
No kidding. Well, maybe my badge does work for the lower level. I don't.
You just haven't tried.
When I started here, they said there were lower level and upper level, and you are an upper level person. Now that was 8 years ago.
You're top tier.
Who knows now? Maybe they've corrected that and not told me. But the upper level, which is the garage where the part of the garage where the public parks. That part of the garage now is littered with oversized trucks to the point where these trucks are so big, they cannot fit in the spots. And now the trucks are in the actual drive portion, how a garage works. You're turning, to the point where yesterday I was leaving and a guy was coming up the garage. He had to physically stop because both cars could not fit.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to do something about that because you do not get the right to disrupt every single driver in the garage because you have to have this mammoth, and maybe there's a very good reason someone has the mammoth truck, but it's not just one. They're all over the place now. It's like playing a game of Paperboy to try to get out of that garage because of these trucks that do not fit in the parking spot.
Your little compact car could actually fit like in motorcycle parking.
My car could fit in the cab of these trucks.
Big trucks.
Yeah, the bed. Yes.
I don't know, Rob. I think I'll trade you truck parking for poop sock.
Hey, speaking of poop sock, we got to read this tweet from Todd Young when we come back.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
The currency of Washington. Politics.
They've got to stop playing politics.
Power.
He just wants power.
Posturing.
What a stupid question.
And I'm going to cut through the nonsense and let you know what is really happening in D.C. this week at CPAC 2025.
He'll talk to the newsmakers, power players, and maybe even find a little common sense.
Stranger things have happened.
Getting the answers that matter to you.
Because somebody's got to do it, and you have a life to live.
Tony Katz, live from D.C., Thursday and Friday on 93 WIBC.
When you're running a small business, every dollar counts. And there's lots of ways you could try saving money, like, say, subletting half your office to an exotic pet shop, or downsizing your fleet of catering trucks to a fleet of catering scooters. Or you could try a smarter way to save. Switch to Comcast Business Mobile. It could save you up to 70% on business wireless compared to AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, and save you the hassle of having a parrot as your desk mate. So don't compromise your business to save money. Keep it growing with Comcast Business Mobile, an incredible value and smarter way to save. Comcast Business Mobile, powering smarter savings, powering possibilities.
Restrictions apply. Compares weighted average of providers based on optimized pricing. Comcast Business Internet required. Reduced speeds after data usage included with plan. Savings may vary.
Discover cancer care that empowers you at Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, with leading-edge treatment options right in your backyard.
I feel blessed and lucky. If I knew someone that was going through what I was going through, I would definitely encourage them to participate in a clinical trial. For me, it was life-changing.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Two of the hottest young teams in the NBA are about to go head-to-head at Gamebridge Fieldhouse.
Left edge wide open, a long one for three, and that's Siakam.
Catch the Pacers and Grizzlies.
He splits the defense. His little shot, good! And a ball!
Miles Turner and your Pacers battle former Purdue standout Zach Edey and the Grizzlies. It's the Grizzlies' only regular season visit. Get your tickets at Pacers.com. Pacers Grizzlies, Thursday at 7.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out?
Spruce! It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
Cold weather brings hot savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Select 2024 Lincoln Navigators now $12,000 off and get 0% for 72 months. How about an all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus now $6,000 off with rates starting at 4.9% for 60 months. So get in on those hot savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Lincoln Navigator MSRP 104,825. Lincoln Nautilus MSRP 61,695. Offers good through February 28, 2025. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Pat Sullivan here for Hope Plumbing. Have you been dreaming of kitchen updates since the new year began? My friends at Hope Plumbing want you to love your plumbing. Update your faucets, fixtures, water heaters, and more with a $100 off a $500 plus plumbing service. Make your remodel dreams or small home update wishes come true and start to love your plumbing again. Call and schedule an appointment today at 317-641-HOPE or visit them online at hopeplumbing.com.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
All right, we got to read you this just ridiculous tweet from our old pal, the Duke of Spendingburg. But first, coming up at 9:45, we're going to pay tribute to Kurt Darling. It's his last day.
That's right. We're going to talk with him. You have a surprise for him as well.
I do. I have somebody has done something very fabulous for Kurt Darling on his final day here at WIBC. Do we know who the replacement news person is going to be?
I think they said John Herrick.
Oh, that's fine.
Going to do it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's good.
For now.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about this tweet, Todd Young. The ability of these people, the ability to detach themselves from any responsibility for the stuff they've done is just, it never ceases to amaze me.
Yeah. So there was a bill that was introduced by Todd Young and Joni Ernst, and it was to recover billions of stolen taxpayer dollars. This is the Senate Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship. It was the Complete COVID Collections Act.
Oh, Complete COVID Collections Act. All right, so we'll talk about why you should, as if you needed a reason to hate this guy more. But I'm going to read you the tweet first, okay?
Sure.
So it says, during COVID, programs designed to provide relief to our small businesses were repeatedly taken advantage of, leaving small businesses hurting and taxpayers on the hook. Senator Joni Ernst and I are working to claw back these dollars and protect Americans from fraud. To which I responded, you voted for all this. Why are you so inept that you voted to print trillions without proper, in parentheses, any safeguards, Duke of Spendingburg? He did this.
Right.
Remember during COVID, they just decided this must have been March, that the Congress, other than Thomas Massey, I think Thomas Massey was like the only one who tried to put a stop to this in the House or Senate. Maybe there were some others. I don't recall many of them. And they just decided, we're going to start printing all of this money and just throwing it at people. Why? Because it's the same thing the state did, Holcomb did with like Medicaid, where they wanted you to believe that they could just shut down society and there were no ramifications or pain to be felt. There was no safeguards put in place whatsoever. Anybody could fill out a form, and there was a good chance you were going to get the money. And thus, the inflation that we feel today, yes, Biden plays a part in it, but it started under Todd Young and the Republicans during COVID, who voted to print like $5 trillion. And now this guy has the audacity to act like he has some sort of outrage that the very system that he created operated in a manner that any person with any common sense would have looked at and said, yeah, people are going to totally take advantage of that, idiot.
So he says that he's working to claw back these dollars and protect Americans from fraud. What a big guy. He's helping us.
How does this go? Hey, Mr. White-collar criminal. Hey, Mr. Fraudster man. We 5 years ago gave you, $100,000 that you really didn't deserve. Could we have that money back?
Yeah.
What does that mean? He's going to claw it back.
There's the potential loss of more than $200 billion due to fraud because of all of the loans that they handed out.
And he puts this out, and it really does give you the mindset, the narcissistic, sociopathic mindset of these people, where he puts this out with no shame whatsoever. He did this thing. It wasn't like the money printing factory just started throwing money, just turned itself on. He told the government to print the money and to give it to these people. And at the time, those of us who were raising our hands going, yeah, we really should put some safeguards on this. We really should have some checks and balances on this. We really should kind of maybe hold on for a month or two and make sure we get some parameters put around this. We were accused of wanting grandma to die and the small business to go out of business. It is with everything else with COVID. We were called the bad guy. And now here we are 5 years later, Casey.
Yeah, 5 years later.
They're just now getting around to going, ooh, boy, there were some real abuses of that program. We probably ought to get some of that money back. How are you going to do that, Einstein? How are you going to do that?
Create the problem and then come up with the cure for the problem. Boy, that's your government in action right there.
This guy, Todd Young, and look, there's more like him. We just have the misfortune of he being our senator. I mean, they are just disgusting, disgusting people because they know what they did. But they believe it shows you what they think of you. They believe you're too stupid to understand when they put that out that they caused this problem that they now claim to want to fix.
So is he trying to go through the 3-step process? Admit the mistake, apologize, take corrective action? I feel like he's trying to take the corrective action 5 years later.
That's correct.
but he's never really admitted that he was part of the problem and never apologized for it.
Well, remember, I did get him to move aggressively towards me at the Stacks Pancake House.
Well, where he admitted he's not going to stop the spending.
That's right. And he was at what, like 10 or 11 trillion added to the debt then. He told me he's never stopping. Todd Young has got to be at like 15 trillion he's voted to add to the nation's debt since he was elected. What was that? Man, if you go back to, and see, that was giving him credit because that was since he's been a senator. If you go back to when he was a rep, he's got to be close to 20 trillion at this point.
So this is kind of a sidebar to this. Is he trying to fall in step with Doge and what's going on there? And you see this never-ending line of these people complaining, if there's a camera around, how they were a federal employee who got laid off. What about all the people that lost their jobs during COVID?
Yeah.
You don't see them.
Right.
You didn't see them.
And now you're seeing, and we'll get to this. I think we're going to talk about this coming up next with Merritt. Jim Merritt's going to join us. How now, finally, after 5 years of Holcomb throwing people on the Medicaid rolls like they were going out of style, now finally the Senate has admitted, we have a crisis here. We've put a lot of people who have no business getting government-funded insurance on government-funded insurance, and now they're saying they're going to try to whack 200,000 people off those. I mean, everything we said, Casey, during COVID, and we were called all sorts of names and ifs and this and that, it's all come true. When do I get my apology?
Don't hold your breath.
All right, so Merritt's going to join us next, and then we have our tribute to Kurt Darling on his final day on WIBC.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers' rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM.
Are you annoyingly inattentive? Do you watch a movie and then ask a zillion questions because you weren't paying attention? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale is happening now. Get a king bed for a queen price. Save up to $700 plus a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or mattressfirm.com for details.
Recent talk about rising interest rates and economic uncertainty may have you wondering if now is the right time to sell your home. Will I get the price I need? Will it take too long? The good news, you don't have to figure this out by yourself. There's a friendly, no-pressure, experienced agent who eats and sleeps Indianapolis real estate. His name is Mark Dietl. Perhaps you're worried you won't sell your home for the price you need. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed-upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Greg and Franklin had to say about working with Mark Dietl. My tenant moved out of my investment property, and I was ready to sell. I heard about Mark on the radio, and everything they say is true. In 15 days on the market, I had a cash offer I wanted on the property. Selling with Mark Dietl was fast, easy, and profitable. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl, 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
It's tax time, and tax time is your time to buy a new Nissan and get double your tax refund or down payment only at Andy Moore Nissan of Indianapolis. For a limited time, when you buy any new Nissan, Andy Moore Nissan will double your tax refund or down payment up to $5,000. That means your $1,000 becomes $2,000. Your $2,000 becomes $4,000. Your $4,000 becomes $8,000. This month only, Andy Moore Nissan will double your down payment up to $10,000. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Good credit, bad credit, even no credit. Our credit experts will get you approved with the best terms, with as little as $0 down on any new Nissan in stock. Andy Moore Nissan is making deals other dealers won't and approving deals other dealers can't. Andy Moore Nissan, 4302 Lafayette Road, Indianapolis, Indiana.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They may have a budget. It's cloudy, some light snow on radar, 15 degrees downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Senate Republicans are moving forward with a long-term funding plan for the U.S. government. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
In a party-line vote, the Senate clearing a procedural hurdle for the Republican-led reconciliation package that includes billions for border and national security. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul was the only GOP no vote. The bill contains spending cuts to other agencies to offset any increases in spending. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
President Trump is trying to expand access to in vitro fertilization. Trump said at Mar-a-Lago on Tuesday that he signed an executive order directing the Domestic Policy Council to find ways to make IVF more affordable within 90 days. Trump promised during his campaign that he would mandate free IVF treatments if elected. The NBA gets back underway tonight after the All-Star break. The LA Lakers will be taking on the Charlotte Hornets in their first game back. The Indiana Pacers will be taking on the Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. Big declines to start the day. The Dow was off 124 at the opening bell to 44,519. The NASDAQ is down 33 to 22,199. And the S&P 500 is off 13 to 6,133. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Patio furniture preseason priced at 30% off. This weekend, get an extra 20% off at Sullivan Hardware and Garden and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan.
Hey, it's JMV with a scoop on how you can attend one of my favorite sporting events, the NFL Combine, for free. Get inside Lucas Oil Stadium to see future NFL stars up close at the Combine experience. You can pass, punt, and run. And to attend for free, February the 27th through March the 2nd, just go to visitindy.com/combine to sign up for free access and parking. The NFL Combine up close with the best college players in football trying out for the NFL. February the 29th through March the 3rd, sign up for free access at visitindy.com/combine. See you there.
Now I carry my operator's license and spend my days just running this crane. And my baby's coming in on the Tucson train.
So a lot going on at the Indiana State House. Let's get to the bottom of some of it. And when we talk the Indiana State House, we got a guy, he knows how things operate there better than anybody else. 30 years in the Indiana Senate. Jim Merritt, hello.
Good morning, Robert.
All right. So look, I've never seen this, and you've been at it longer than I have. I watched the third vote on the property tax bill in the Senate, and I don't think I've ever seen a signature issue where almost to a person, the speakers got up and are like, this is a bad bill, but I'm voting for it anyway. Has this ever happened before?
Well, I've seen it, but not as large as a contingent making that declaration. And I hope everybody's safe out there with the snowy roads. But yeah, it just passed third reading, and as our audience knows, you have a committee hearing, and then you have second reading, which allows the full body of the Senate or the House of Representatives to amend the bill, and then once that process is over, it goes to third reading, so the whole Senate can render their opinion on the bill and vote on it.
This is what Casey and I said yesterday, which is if the bill stinks, you had opportunities to amend the bill. There was one Democrat offered amendments, and Mike Young offered amendments. So if the bill is so bad, why didn't any of you overachievers, that was like
fix it?
Yeah, like I don't understand this. Help me understand how this works.
Well, I think it's such a signature issue for the governor. There's deference there,
but they took all the governor's stuff out.
Well, yes, but it's only halftime now, and it gives them an opportunity to see how the economy, as we've talked in these airways before, April is a time when they have a forecast, a fiscal forecast, something that's going to happen the next 2 years that's going to kind of balance things out as to what the tea leaves read for the next 2 years in the way of how the economy in the state of Indiana is going to go. And this buys time. It allows them to kind of look at to see, and I think it's going to be a sunny forecast. I think we're going to have a very good 2 years in regard to the economy of the state of Indiana. And it allows the senators to say, we know this is something the governor wants. We're gonna keep this bill moving in the process. Allow the House of Representatives, because if you vote against Senate Bill 1, it's dead. And so this keeps a body of work, a vessel, if you will.
They look horrible, though.
Yes,
I mean they look like idiots out of this.
Well, there's a reason why they call it sausage making.
Yeah,
and this is a part of that.
Okay, so Braun came out and he said that he, won't sign it in its current state. What do you think he's going to do with this?
Well, I think the next 21 days, next 3 weeks, there has to. If I'm Governor Braun, you have to put maximum pressure on the House of Representatives. They are producing a budget, and this might, and the budget will pass. If not now, the budget will pass the House of Representatives, goes over the Senate, and for their deliberation on it. So it's kind of a process of almost like making soup and having sauces and spices and whatnot. And so they have until April 29 to come with a budget bill for the next 2 years, and we'll see what happens. And so there's a lot of teamwork going on here, and we're just going to have to see what happens in the House of Representatives. Answer your question. Governor Braun has to put maximum pressure on the House of Representatives to look at Senate Bill 1, re-inject his ideas in it.
It is Braun clearly knows the people are behind him on this. He's a politician, right? At the end of the day, you don't get to be a state rep and then U.S. senator and governor without being a politician. He knows where the people are. That's why he's leaning into this.
Absolutely, and he ran on this. This is a signature item for him, and he will continue to push on this because if he doesn't get it, what are the next 3 years going to look like?
Yeah, it's not going to be good here. I'll tell you that.
Well, I think,
and you want us to be your friend.
Well, he's very sensitive to the fact. He's very sensitive to the fact that he needs this bill, and all 150 members of the Indiana General Assembly know it.
Well, not only that, but he's got a lieutenant governor who he took a lot of his responsibilities away. So that just gives, Micah Beckwith an opportunity to campaign for the next couple of years.
There will be a lot of people, Casey, that lean into the State House, from local officials to teachers to parents to property taxpayers at the State House. It will be a turnstile. Mm-hmm. People will be visiting the State House, along with putting pressure on the 150 members of the Indiana General Assembly to come with a bill that at least some people have to be satisfied.
You said there's a lot of teamwork going on right now. Do they understand that the teams feel like us against them?
Well, I think what I mean by teamwork is that in the beginning that the House leaders and the Senate leaders said, okay, the House will take care of the budget. The Senate leaders said, we'll work on Senate Bill 1. Now, I think our listeners have to know that it's only halftime. And so what happens next is the Senate will have to pass on a budget, and the House will have to pass Senate Bill 1 in some form that the governor will accept.
Jim Merritt, our guest, you know him for 30 years in the Indiana Senate. They made it by the skin of its teeth, but a rare, probably random accidental act of good governance took place in the Senate. They passed that partisan school board bill.
Well, it's interesting you say that because there's a rumor. I don't know how strong this is because I don't have kids in Carmel schools.
We love rumors.
But there's a rumor that they were talking about changing Valentine's Day in Carmel schools to Friendship Day. Now, I just heard this on social media, so it might not be correct. But if that's the case,
Casey actually started that rumor.
It's tackling Valentine's Day, and so let's hope that is just something I heard. But it just goes. Should it be true? It goes to the heart of, no pun intended, what we're actually talking to our kids about these days.
Yeah, that's the issue, right? Is there's all these people who are total lefties who, if they had to put a letter next to their name, would never get elected. Mm-hmm. But because they don't have to put a letter, they can coalition build from the lefties who know who the lefties are and my, Susie's son is on the soccer team, and you put that together, and you can win those elections. And it's, you have said this. You were there when it went from, it used to be you had to say I'm a Republican, a Democrat. You said you guys made a big mistake.
Absolutely. It was one of the bigger mistakes I made. The school board elections, people say you can't infuse politics into school boards. It's there.
Yeah.
And I remember moving to Carmel, and I actually called people because there were all these names out there that I didn't know who was running, and so I was asking people, well, who's conservative and who's liberal, and I think
it depends on the day.
Yeah, I think this is a very good piece of legislation that I would vote for if I was in the legislature and kind of cure that mistake that I made a long time ago.
Real quick, they've got this bill. I think Casey and I are going to get into it a little bit later. That would finally start to put some sort of sanity on the Healthy Indiana program, this Medicaid program, which would peel back hundreds of thousands of people that are on this program. That is ridiculous. You had 700,000 people currently getting government-funded insurance in this state. Even with this bill, you're still talking 1 out of every 14 people is going to be on government-funded insurance. There's no way financially to sustain this going forward.
Well, before the pandemic, it was 340,000 people on those boards, and then it doubled to 700,000. And
say that again, because I think that's important. Where were we pre-COVID?
Pre-COVID, we had 340,000 people on the Medicaid roll.
That's it.
Yes. And after COVID, it has over doubled to 700,000.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And you kind of, I don't know what categories there are, but with 700,000 people, with 6 million people in the state of Indiana, you're talking about a welfare roll. And I kudos to the Senate, who are cutting that back to 500,000 people.
But that's still a 50% increase in 5 years.
Very much so.
Even if you pare that back to 5, there's no way there's 50% more people who are in need of government-funded insurance.
Well, it may show you that the haves and the have-nots are becoming farther and farther apart. I'd love to know what those 500,000 people category actually is. But yes, it's having 500,000 people on the Medicaid rolls is a scary proposition.
Do you think part of this is because, we've heard that, they should stop advertising and let people know it's available. Do you think part of this is lenient judges who are deciding?
Well, it could be judges. It also could be the idea that the poor are getting poorer, and we need to be very careful with that because our society isn't safe. We're not educating people. Many homeless children are going to IPS. There are so many different ills. We ought to look at it, and that ought to be something that really need to be studied. That people are becoming poorer and poorer, and that's not good for anybody.
Merit in the Morning, that's the podcast.
Yes, Scott Pollard's our guest this weekend.
We love Pollard, friend of the show, yes.
At 10 o'clock on Saturday, and we're going to talk about a foundation that's been created that he's the spokesman for called Pearls of Life.
Find him on Twitter at Jim_Merritt. You're the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show back at it 3:06 this afternoon. Tony Kennett of the Daily Signal and the Tony Kennett Cast. He'll be our guest. We'll talk a little and a lot more. 93 WIBC.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. It's still Obamacare, right? We recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
During tax season, your info travels lots of places you can't control.
W-2 arriving from payroll platform 3.
Everything criminals need to steal your identity is on your W-2.
Last call for accountant at home office, 1 minute.
LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second.
Tax preparation data centers with service to IRS. All aboard.
If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Let's talk about getting back to your best. Lack energy, muscle mass, feel moody, or have low libido? It could be signs of low testosterone. Know your T levels. Get tested. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, may be the answer. The true experts are at Low T Center, and everyone's different. Don't settle for a standard dosage TRT program.
Get personalized treatment at Low T Center. For current patients, Low T Center offers a $150 referral credit when you refer a new patient. LowTCenter.com. Book that appointment today. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Blood, sweat, tears. At Bill Estes, we know it takes hard work and years of doing the right thing to build a business people can depend on. That's why we don't make empty promises and expect your trust. Estes earns it. From Ford F-150s and Toyota Tacomas to Ram 1500s and Chevy Silverados, we have the trucks you'll love at prices you can believe in. But don't just take our word for it. Your trust means something. Estes earns it. BillEstes.com.
We all have people in our lives we interact with. Maybe it's your favorite barista, a neighbor who waves to you every morning, a coworker you grab lunch with, or maybe it's me, the hairstylist you've gone to for years. What if you learned I had a substance use disorder? Would it change how you see me? It's okay to see the addiction, but when you choose to see the person, not just their disease, it can help change someone's life. Learn more at cbeyondtheaddiction.org.
Hammer and Nigel.
The commander-in-chief doesn't have to watch Matlock with pudding smeared on his face. We've got a commander-in-chief that no longer falls up and down the stairs multiple times. I'm excited for that.
Hammer and Nigel. Afternoons on 93 WIBC.
It's the end.
This is the end. Beautiful friend.
It's time for the exit interview.
That's right.
Yeah,
He's done.
We're gonna do it live on the air.
Oh, this is my official exit interview now.
So you were Kurt Darling is our guest. It's his last day here on the Kendall and Casey show. Now you were with me and the other blonde woman, right? Is that right?
Oh yeah.
You were the news guy with the other blonde woman.
Oh yeah, and the brunette there too.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you've been what, 8 years? Is that right?
8.5 years. Yes. I was first hired October 2016 out of WHAS in Louisville. So
you had nothing better to do with your time than stay here for 8 years.
Well, this is believe it or not, this is the place where I really wanted to be when I first wanted to get into broadcasting. Was like I wanted to work here at WIBC because, you know, heritage station, you know, the voice of Indianapolis. It was just something that I was really passionate about and still am. But yeah, this is where I wanted to be, and so yeah, I couldn't think of anything better to do with my time than be here.
Well, and we talk about this all the time. Like you're a Indiana guy, right? You went to Brownsburg.
Yep, former two Brownsburg yahoos right here.
What year did you graduate? You're much younger than me.
2011.
Yes,
yeah.
you're much younger than me.
Just a baby.
I know several of your friends.
They still had a grass football field when I was there, though.
Yes,
so.
that's correct. But it is interesting. Like this is, you know, people who are Indianapolis or Indiana lifers. They get this, right? That growing up, if you want to be in radio, WIBC is the station you always wanted to be on.
It's the pinnacle. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's all downhill now.
Yeah. yeah.
Is that what you're saying? So what's your favorite memory?
So, I mean, I have several. Obviously, if you're working for WIBC and you have a goal of working here, you obviously want to be out at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway covering the Indianapolis 500.
Racing.
I am a huge racing fanatic, as people probably know by now. And but that I have so many favorite memories out there, but one in particular that was very impactful for me during my time here was 2020 during the downtown riots.
Yeah.
That was, and I consider...
You were out in the street?
Yes, I was. And I consider that it's a favorite memory, but it's also one that, had a profound impact on me because, you were right in the middle of some of the most violent acts that have happened in downtown Indianapolis in quite some time.
Did you wear a vest or anything?
I did not wear a vest, but I did have a big orange media credential that was given to me by the city. But yet at the same time, and again, this was no fault of the IMPD or anybody out there because it was crowd control, but I did get tear gas 3 times.
Because I remember you on the phone, live on the air, and I just thought, that is dedication to the craft.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were like, yeah, I'm not going back to work for a while, and this guy was like out in the middle of all.
Well, yeah,
that.
I mean, somebody had to be because it's history that was happening right before my eyes, and of course the ears of everybody listening. And it was me, Rob Connett, John Herrick, Chris Davis. All of us were out there, just doing what we could to try and tell the story as accurately and factually as possible.
They're like some war vet. Herrick's the only one left now. They're all gone.
Yeah.
Like Saving Private Ryan.
I have to imagine on a mental health level, reporting the news every day takes a toll on you.
It can. I mean, like a lot of people don't realize that in order to be in radio news or just reporting news in general, that you have to have a thin skull to the point where you have to absorb it all, but at the same time, you have to have a thick skull because you have to make sure that you keep yourself mentally in check, as well as being able to accurately and factually report the news like I talked about. And so, for me, it's just one of those things. It's like, I think 8.5 years is more than enough news reporting for me. So, yeah.
Kurt Darling is with us. It's his last day. We have a presentation for him momentarily. Where are you going? What are you doing?
So I'm not going to be going far, actually. My new full-time...
Not fleeing the country?
Yeah, absolutely. No, definitely. I am fleeing the county, though. But it will... I'm not going far. I'll be basically taking up the role of sports director and account executive for Wolf Boom Radio up in Muncie. So, like the Talk of Muncie, WMUN, WLBC, 2 of which are also heritage stations here in the state of Indiana. I'm going to be... a lot of people who probably, follow me as well know that I'm huge into sports, like racing in particular, but I love doing sports play-by-play as a side gig. Well, now I will be able to transition that into a full-time career, as well as helping sell advertising and businesses as well for the cluster up at Wolf Boom Radio. So I'm really, really excited to be getting out of the news realm and getting more into what I'm really passionate about, and that is sports.
Right, sinking your teeth into something that you do have the passion for.
Absolutely. And so I'm super excited. I get to choose the work I want to do as far as calling games and whatnot, and sell it, obviously, and work with a bunch of really great people up there.
All right, Kurt. Well, you have done a wonderful job as putting up with us, putting up with me in various incarnations over the. You've been the one constant through all the shows, and we wanted to do something nice for you for your 8+ years of service and all the years you've spent being a great. Just a great teammate and playing along with us. And one of our great joys was creative ways to introduce you in the news. And so I am very blessed that Marilyn May, who babysits Olivia, she is also one of the most gifted, talented bakers in all of Central Indiana. She actually owns her own business. Like Marilyn May is a good at everything. She's one of these women who just, no matter what you have her do,
she's successful.
She'll keep your kid alive. She'll bake you a cake. She'll bake you cupcakes. So Custom Cakes by Marilyn is her business. I'm gonna post the photo of this I'll put it at Rob M. Kendall. Casey will retweet it. And if you want to find her, it's Custom Cakes by Marilyn. So not only is she good at baking, the creativity with the way with which she makes the stuff that she puts together is unbelievable. And so she has made you, commissioned by the Kendall and Casey show, Marilyn, Custom Cakes by Marilyn, has commissioned a cake. And you're the news guy. Would you like to describe the cake, Kurt, in your one of your final acts here?
Oh, this looks really, really good. So, it says it's the logo Kendall and Casey on top, of course.
Yes.
And then the very well-made at 93 WIBC logo
Identical,
in the middle.
yes.
Yes, it looks exactly right. So kudos to her on that. And it says, farewell, Kurt. Good luck finding better coworkers.
So Marilyn is a huge fan, and her husband of WIBC. They listen all the time. They're great conservatives. And so she was like, I want to do something for Kurt's last day. And so she made this a of her own
chocolate cake, chocolate fudge,
and it
right?
is just gorgeous. So we will post the photo up here momentarily. Custom Cakes by Marilyn. You can find her on Facebook. And Kurt, man, we just want to thank you for all you did for WIBC. Loved that a Bulldog. We got to share the stage with the Brownsburg Bulldog. And man, good luck on what you're doing going forward.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you for what you do, and thank you for putting up with me as well over these 8.5 years. I appreciate everybody here at WIBC.
Best of luck, Kurt Darling, from Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Whether you're preparing for retirement, navigating a life transition, or simply wondering if you're on the right path, Howard Bailey Financial is here to help. Together, we'll work on a personalized plan designed to bring greater clarity to your goals and help you approach decisions with confidence. It's not just about numbers, it's about the life you want to lead and the legacy you want to leave behind. With over 20 years of experience, Howard Bailey Financial has been dedicated to guiding individuals as they work toward taking control of their financial future and finding peace of mind. Text PATH to 888-262-1104 to download a free retirement toolkit and start planning for the retirement you've dreamed of. Howard Bailey Financial, helping you turn hope into a plan and dreams into reality. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Indiana Foundation Service comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at indianafoundation.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for detail.
Emmer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday. Brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
Life-changing discovery should never be left to chance. IU Indianapolis is Indiana's premier urban research university, home to 50 research centers and institutes, which means our students don't just study groundbreaking research, they make their very own breakthroughs from day one. We're here to make the future happen. Bring on tomorrow. IU Indianapolis. Discover what's next at go.iu.edu/breakthrough.
City water or well water, get better water with C&J. You just can't find anybody better than the pros at C&J. Great systems and great people, too. Just call them, 317-733-SOFT.
Coming up in 2 minutes, how many people were shot in Indianapolis yesterday, plus where a man died in a house fire, and they still don't know how he died officially, and A bill that may kick thousands of Hoosiers off Medicaid. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WYBC, WYBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
When will President Trump meet with Vladimir Putin? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Russia's leader says he's not ready to tell us. But Putin does say a resolution in Ukraine is priority, the day after the first U.S.-Russia talk since the 2022 invasion. And President Trump suggests Ukraine's to blame for the war.
Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal. I could have made a deal for Ukraine.
Now, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said today President Trump is living in a Russian disinformation space.
We are partners. We are in war. And we have to resolve this topic.
Zelensky was not happy that Ukraine was left out of those U.S.-Russia talks yesterday. He's meeting today with the Special American Envoy to Ukraine, and Zelensky wants U.S. security guarantees if there is a peace deal to end the war. Controversy simmers in New York City, where Governor Kathy Hochul is considering removing Mayor Eric Adams, a fellow Democrat, over his cooperation with federal illegal immigration raids, and if Adams is doing that to get a federal bribery and corruption case dropped. The mayor denies that, but a federal judge will hold a hearing today.
In court, DOJ attorneys will argue that the corruption case against the mayor should be scrapped, at least for now. Adams faces charges of bribery, fraud, accepting illegal foreign campaign donations from Turkey. The judge in his letter wrote, quote, "The parties shall be prepared to address the reasons for the government's motion, the scope and effect of Mayor Adams' consent, and the procedure for a resolution of the motion."
Fox's Eric Shawn outside the federal court in New York. As President Trump pushes to ramp up deportations of illegal immigrants who've committed crimes, he's cracking down further on drug gangs. The U.S. has just designated Tren de Aragua, Sinaloa, and other drug cartels global terrorist organizations. President Trump's standing by DOJ amid all the Democrat criticism. The Department of Government Efficiency is illegally going into federal agencies. Elon Musk tells Fox's Hannity.
The overall goal is to try to get $1 trillion out of the deficit. And if the deficit is not brought under control, America will go bankrupt.
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It was a quadruple shooting. Some light snow on radar. It is 15 degrees downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Gunfire on the northeast side of Indianapolis this afternoon. Shane Foley, a captain with IMPD.
What I can tell you is that approximately 12:15 p.m., IMPD North District officers responded to the 3500 block of Wallace on a report of a person shot.
He says 4 people were shot and 1 of them died. Now they're looking for anyone who may have been involved, and if there could have been more than one. A 72-year-old man died at a house fire in Anderson on Tuesday. The coroner says Lacey Sawyer Jr. was found dead inside the home once firefighters got the flames under control. No cause of death yet. The state recorded 77 fire fatalities in 2024. Getting involved in road rage is something that you should avoid. Harrison Silcox tells you why.
A couple of cars were shot at because of road rage incidents about 10 minutes east of Purdue's campus over the weekend. Lafayette officers say a 28 and 20-year-old were arrested in separate road rage incidents, and they're each facing similar charges that include intimidation with a deadly weapon and recklessly pointing a gun at someone. Officers recommend you just report the aggressive behavior to them rather than getting yourself mixed up in any trouble by retaliating. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Kicking thousands of Hoosiers off of Medicaid. That's essentially what a bill passed by the state Senate would do. The bill caps the number of people who can enroll in the Healthy Indiana plan at 500,000. Right now, over 700,000 are enrolled.
Where's the data that shows that 300,000 people do not need Medicaid services?
Democrat State Senator Fadi Kadora. It now heads to the Indiana House for consideration. Miles Turner has been dealing with a concussion the last few weeks.
I was able to get up. All the women in my family were scared. My mom, she sent me a message, the video of me. I didn't even realize I went to go set a screen, before we even called the timeout. I was still in play mode, so yeah, I'm cool.
He's healthy and ready to play now as the Indiana Pacers will resume their season tomorrow against Zach Edey and the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WYBC.com.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth worth it? If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. That's 800-659-7540.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIPC.
Kurt's like, do you mind if I carry this whole cake into the newsroom? I'll just eat it there.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have to get our pieces before they destroy it in there.
Sorry, there's nothing left for you guys.
It's going away.
Yes. Oh, is this my piece?
That is your piece.
Oh, thank you.
So if you
Look
missed
at
last hour, the final segment, it's Kurt Darling's last day with us here on the show, and my very fabulous babysitter, May from Custom Cakes by Maryland, made Kurt the most fabulous going away cake ever. I've posted that up at Rob M. Kendall. Casey has shared it as well at Casey Daniels 317. If you'd like to see that, it is. I mean, I felt bad that we were eating it because it should be in a museum.
Yeah, it is really pretty. It's got the station logo colors all
You ever do
over
any
it.
baking of any sort?
Me?
Yeah.
All the time.
Really?
I made cookies last night.
Really?
Yeah.
Something like that? You could do something like that?
I could bake something like that. I couldn't decorate it that well.
That's where the art is, right?
Yeah,
But it's
because she did the logo and
double-edged.
everything.
So true story, and then we'll get to this Braun stuff because Braun said some really fascinating stuff yesterday. When Bruce had his first birthday party, this is how I met Marilyn. When Bruce had his first birthday party, he was sort of like, I was still on the town government at the time, town council, and Bruce kind of became like the unofficial like town mascot, and everybody, like, he had a Facebook page and everybody loved Bruce. And so we said, for fun, we said, I'm going to have a birthday party for Bruce at the Williams Park in Brownsburg, and if you want to come, the whole public is invited. No, don't bring gifts. We'll bring stuff and we'll just have fun. And we thought like 5 or 10 people will show up. There's like 100 people that showed up to this birthday party, and Marilyn made these cupcakes that had like little emblems that looked like Bruce on them. Like, they were incredible.
Yeah.
And it was like, lady, I don't know where you've been my whole life, but
watch my kid now.
you are the missing ingredient. So
does she? I wonder if she makes pup cups.
Oh yeah, I think she does the whole thing. Like her, like you said, I'm not good at anything, and she's one of those people who is good at everything that she puts her mind to. So we've got the picture with her. Custom Cakes by Marilyn is the Facebook page with her contact information. If you'd like to have her make something for you, support people. They're big conservatives. They're big WIBC fans. So she did that of her own. Took it on herself to do that because she loves the radio station.
There are a few eggs in that cake.
Oh my goodness, yes. The caloric intake is strong.
So you had asked me if I do any baking, and around Christmas time, I had posted a picture on my Twitter account of me making Christmas cookies, and my mixer the brand is called Braun.
What?
Yeah.
What's the one that all the people have? The mixer. What's the
KitchenAid?
KitchenAid.
The big one? No,
yes.
This is just the little hand mixer that I've had for 20 plus years.
That's pretty amazing.
And the brand is called Braun. It's the GOP's in my Christmas cookies.
Well, look, I'm just going to say, May doesn't even work here, and she did that for Kurt. It's pretty selfish you didn't make him some cookies or something.
I knew a cake was coming in. I thought that was just a little too much sugar.
Somebody else was going to do the work for me. All right, speaking of Braun, look, here, I got to say this about Braun, and I've been pleasantly surprised, and I told this, I think it was during State House Happenings, I told this story. I said, when I met with Braun last summer, I met with him over at State Party. It was like Saddam Hussein had walked in that place when I was, on the list to be there.
Yeah.
And I met with him for about an hour. Micah was there as a witness in case I disappeared, to have a timeline for the authorities. And, we went back and forth on some things. And finally, at one point, he was saying all the right stuff. And I just straight up looked at him and I made him laugh. I was pretty proud of this. I said, "Are you ready for this jelly?" and I said, "Look," I said, "I will support you. But I said, and it will help you get the votes you need for this election." And it did. He blew past the expectations. He got the mandate, et cetera. But I said, then I will hold you accountable. And I said, it's all going to be fun and games to get elected. But then are you ready? Because you know how I operate. And if you go back on any of this, it is going to be even way worse than Holcomb, because you have sold me on being Holcomb didn't sell me on anything other than being a piece of trash. You have sold me on the idea that you're going to fight for people. And he said, I believe in this, Rob. He said, I believe in this property tax reform, and I'm not giving you lip service, and I'm going to fight for this. And that guy has, from that moment on, really fought hard for this. And I have remained very impressed with how he is out there fighting for the people.
Well, he hasn't ruled out a special session if the property tax bill isn't fixed.
And that's his he's got two arrows in his quiver. One is to veto the bill and then challenge the legislature to override and then call the special session, because if there's one thing these guys in the General Assembly hate doing, it's working. And so you would be able to make them work and continue to come back and have to work until you get what you want. And so he was busy yesterday on the media rounds. The first clip, so he was on WTHI, which is a TV station out of Terre Haute, and
he was with Ben Verbanek.
Yeah, I know Ben very well. Ben's a great guy and a good reporter, and I don't know why he's wasting his time over there in Terre Haute, but and see, I can say that. My family's from Terre Haute. I can say whatever I want about Terre Haute because my family came from there, and I lived over there for a year. But Ben's a great reporter, and he pressed Braun yesterday on kind of what he intends to do to try to get the ship righted on this property tax bill.
Right. What's he going to do to get the rate reset put back in that SB1? How's he going to get it done?
I've got many levers at my disposal. I ran on it and won with a near record margin. So I think that needs to be listened to by folks running local governments and school districts.
Braun says those powers include potentially vetoing the legislation.
If you were passed a property tax bill that did not provide, in your opinion, sufficient relief for the taxpayers, would you be prepared to veto that legislation?
Definitely would be. And problem is, when you veto as a governor in Indiana, it can be overridden with a simple majority.
Braun could also call a special session. With a potential rate increase coming this November, this could get emergency consideration. Braun tells me it's something he's not ruling out.
I hope we don't have to go to that, but I can tell you I'm going to keep explaining it simply and make them prove it.
Yeah, great. He is doing everything. Now, I would be handling this different in dealing with these lawmakers than he is, right? I think he's been too behind the scenes on this stuff. But at the end of the day, if he succeeds in the end, then he will have been a resounding success. And I'm not going to beat a guy up for trying differently than I'm trying. He's gone above and beyond what he promised he would do, and everyone should be very proud. This is, handful of guys in the House, couple in the Senate, and Braun and Micah are the ones you can be proud of because they are the ones thus far who have been fighting for you.
So this is kind of one of those things where, when you were little and you did something bad and you wait till your father gets home.
Oh, yes.
And that made you sit up straight.
Oh, that was how it operated in my house.
It's like the threat sometimes does the trick. Is this the case here where the threat of a special session or the threat of the veto is enough to sway the House to do what he wants?
Well, and we've gotten so many emails from people about, like, what's next. And one of the things I've been telling people in the what's next is don't get depressed, because I've been told by several people that behind the scenes, this is working. You haven't seen it play out in terms of success out of the Senate, but these guys tip their hands in terms of how they respond to things. And the fact that so many of them got up in front on that third reading and said, this is a bad bill.
Admitting.
That is because of you, our audience. That is because of the governor driving this agenda and you responding to that. And so what I'm telling you is it is the equivalent of being in the fourth inning of a baseball game, and it doesn't matter until the final pitch is thrown, which is sine die, the end of the session. And so you've got to stay engaged. I think maybe tomorrow, what is today? Today's Wednesday. Maybe Friday, we're going to have a big announcement on something we've been working on behind the scenes, which is going to be really cool. And so there's just so much time left in this that you've got to stay engaged. And even though you didn't get what you wanted out of the Senate, behind the scenes, these guys are feeling the pressure.
So Braun said that he's open to a discussion, balancing the cost pressures from inflation on local government services with tax relief for homeowners. He was also on the podcast with Robert Vane.
So Robert Vane, our old friend, has a podcast called Leaders and Legends. Robert Vane, of course, was the communications director for State Party. He was communications director for Ballard. And he has this really cool podcast where every week he interviews somebody who has made a profound difference either in the state of Indiana or the city of Indianapolis. And so he had Braun on. It was his 300th episode. He had Braun on, and they talked about it. Was a really interesting interview. I learned a whole bunch of stuff about Braun. It was about a 45-minute conversation. Leaders and Legends is the name of the podcast. If you are interested in the history of the city of Indianapolis or the state of Indiana, subscribe to this podcast. Go back and listen to the old episodes. I'm even on one of them at one point. So, I mean, it might have been a slow news cycle.
He often has authors, but he also has sports figures, and like Mitch Daniels is
very
on.
very interesting podcast, and it's long form, and take some time to listen to it. But he asked him, as part of this podcast, he asked him about property taxes, and here's what Braun had to say.
Property taxes is kind of emerging as the big issue in the 2025 session. How important, because you've been passionate, you've been firm, you've been consistent. You've even gotten compliments from Rob Kendall. I didn't know he complimented anyone.
It's hard to do.
It is hard to do.
But he was right on that, in the sense that he was hearing it, and he's got the platform to amplify it. I was hearing it over the last year nonstop, and even for those 2 years.
How important is it to you to provide the property tax relief that Hoosiers are asking for? Because it's clearly what they're asking for.
Yeah, and then it goes with all Hoosiers would think that their local school districts and their local governments are by far the most important part of the public arena. And you then get into the discussions of how do you kind of reconcile that? Well, almost all of them wear a homeowner's hat, too. And remember, numbers are my forte. And I know what inflation went up. I know that you've got a growth factor that you need to have above and beyond that to move your own district, school, and local governments along. But I also know that many took advantage of an opaque system and had a windfall. Many are sitting on record balances and have bought a lot of shiny objects that you couldn't have done otherwise. And it was very simple. You should have lowered your tax rates to cover inflation and a reasonable growth rate, and not enjoyed the windfall of opaqueness. They know I'm 100% right. But once you get what you've become used to, and you've done it over 4 years, it's also hard to maybe pull back.
He's right. These governments, whether it's schools or these cities or counties, they got all this money that came in during COVID, and instead of holding it back and recognizing, hey, that gravy train is going to end, or giving it back to you because it was your money to begin with, they spent it on stuff. They just bought things, and now they're going to cry poverty because somebody wants to do something to help you.
Well, and we were told by the mayor of Carmel that
spend it, Sue Finkum,
that safety was going to be on the line.
Yeah.
That police and fire was going to be in jeopardy.
Why don't we take a break and talk about what happened with public safety in Carmel?
Right, there was a big announcement yesterday.
Casey, it was a local government miracle.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
The currency of Washington. Politics.
They've got to stop playing politics.
Power.
He just wants power.
Posturing.
What a stupid question.
And I'm going to cut through the nonsense and let you know what is really happening in D.C. this week at CPAC 2025.
He'll talk to the newsmakers, power players, and maybe even find a little common sense.
Stranger things have happened.
Getting the answers that matter to you.
Because somebody's got to do it, and you have a life to live.
Tony Katz, live from D.C., Thursday and Friday on 93 WIBC.
Hi, I'm Charlie Comer from Comer & Cross Premium Garage Floor Coatings. If your garage floor looks bad with stains, cracks, and pits, it makes your entire garage look bad. And a bad epoxy job or chipping paint makes your garage or basement look worse. With one quick call to 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, I can save you $1,000 on a new Comer & Cross garage floor or basement floor during our winter sale. A Comer & Cross concrete floor coating is the gold standard. Guaranteed. A Comer & Cross garage floor won't chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. What's the Comer and Cross difference? We make it so easy. We move your stuff out for you. We fix the cracks and pits perfectly. And one day, you will love your gleaming, new Comer and Cross garage floor or basement floor just in time for spring. Call us right now for $1,000 in savings during our winter sale. Operators are standing by now at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to COMERcross.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Big Joe here for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical.
Coming home to a cold house in the dead of winter isn't just inconvenient, it's expensive. For over 60 years, thousands of Hoosiers have trusted B&W to catch their problems early and keep their families warm and safe. Call 317-214-0108 or go to bplusw.com for fast, reliable service today.
That's 317-214-0108. B&W, your American Standard dealer since 1961.
Book your custom patio project before March 1st and save up to $2,500. Indie Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
Jojo was a man who thought he was a loner, but he knew it couldn't.
Casey, you're going to have to help me with this. I'm very...
Are you confused?
Well, I'm very confused because government elected officials would never blatantly mislead or deceive the public at large. So I have no doubt that there is some step in this process that I have missed.
Sure.
Because if you recall, we've had a little fun tit for tat with the mayor of Carmel recently, Spendin Sue Finkham, who, $235 million budget and $58.5 million taxpayer-funded hotel, and you got the taxpayer-funded reflexive pool and the taxpayer-funded Palladium and taxpayer-funded fake people on the streets. You know,
Sure.
Carmel, right?
Sure.
Yeah, Carmel.
Yeah.
And she went to that Senate Bill 1 hearing, and, some people might say she was dog whistling or innuendoing, and I'm sure she's above reproach, and her character would never allow her to potentially mislead lawmakers or the public at large. But that the public safety in Carmel could potentially be in trouble,
right?
If there was if Braun's property tax plan got passed,
right? It led you to believe that they were barely holding on.
Yeah, and then, we started doing some deep diving, and we saw the fire guy making $271,000 and several fire people making above $150,000, and we thought, well, wow, that's pretty wild that the rank and file fire guys could potentially be in trouble, or any public safety could be in trouble with all these tippy-top people making all this money. We must be missing something, because, again, like an elected official like Sue Finkham would never just say something to try to solicit a result from lawmakers.
Good news, Rob.
Oh,
good news.
Yes.
The Carmel City Council approved new contracts for police officers and firefighters.
Now, wait. Say that again?
The Carmel City Council, they approved new contracts for the police officers and the firefighters.
Well, now that's super weird, Casey, because if you knew that there was this potentially crippling property tax bill out there, and you went and were concerned about the impact on public safety, why would you be guaranteeing people money if you believed that Braun's property tax, which is, nobody knows how this thing's going to go? I mean,
well,
why would you do that?
They did make some changes, some adjustments to the agreement.
Are they getting less money?
The adjustments were to wages and vacation days with increases.
Wait. So you're telling me there must be a part of the process that I have missed, Casey, because our spending Sue Finkham, clearly above reproach, went to that meeting. You saw it. I saw it. I think reasonable people might come to the conclusion that she was trying to insinuate, that would be the right word, that public safety could be in some sort of jeopardy if the Braun plan was passed. And yet you're telling me, while the plan is still hanging out there with clear momentum towards the public outcry, that these senators came out and said this is a bad plan, even though they voted to move it forward. She elected to give cops and firefighters more vacation days and more raises, despite these potentially crippling, devastating tax cuts coming from Mike Braun.
Yep, and she emphasized the importance of attracting and retaining top talent in public safety for Carmel's success.
Well, look, this is just not making any sense to me, Casey, because we saw in the school funding formula places like Brownsburg getting huge increases in school funding, yet we're told that the schools and the teachers might not exist. We were not maybe told, but a reasonable person might have been led to believe that by people like Spendin Sue and that he's I'm going to try to be nicer today. Less than productive mayor of Terre Haute that the public safety could be in real trouble. And now we see that the public safety in Carmel are getting the big pay increases and the additional days off. And we were led to believe just the other day by professional dumbass Greg Taylor that snow plows and streetlights could be in trouble.
Sure.
It doesn't seem to be.
Yeah.
I don't know what is a person to believe anymore.
Which way do you go? So Sue Finkham put out that our residents appreciate living in Carmel for many reasons, and the safety of our community is chief among them.
So if you have a contract, you're obligated to kind of uphold the agreement in that contract, right? So at least for the next 2 years, no matter what were to happen with Braun's property tax plan, our pal Spendin Sue, she's committed to paying the public safety.
Correct.
So there won't be any cuts to public safety.
Correct.
So I wonder if now she would like to recant or clarify any statements that there's no way this is a coincidence on the timing, right?
You think?
That's a heck of a coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah, so they finalized this on Monday.
It's probably just definitely a coincidence. Look, these people are all full of crap. They're trying to scare you.
They knew they were working on this when she was at the first hearing.
She's full of crap. The mayor of Terre Haute is full of crap. Greg Taylor is full of crap. All of these people, these school people, are full of crap. They're all getting more money. They're all getting more stuff. They're all getting more things. They just don't want you to have stuff and things. That's what this is all about.
And you get nothing. We've got voicemails coming up. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hey guys, it's Rob, and as many of you know, I have my dad as my neighbor. And there's a lot of great things about that. But one of the things I don't necessarily care for, we're always in competition to see who has the better lawn. He's always trying to show me up. But this year I'm going to get him because I called my friends at Save a Tree. In the coming weeks, Save a Tree is coming to my property, and they are going to revamp the whole lawn. Trim and reshape my trees, making them healthier and stronger. Treat my lawn so it's weed-free and looks picture-perfect. The envy of the neighborhood, including the envy of my old man. My yard is thriving, and I can't wait to enjoy it all summer long. See how beautiful your yard can be. Set up your own evaluation at saveatree.com. That's SAVATREE.com. Or dial pound 250 on your smart device and say the keyword Save a Tree. That's pound 250, keyword Save a Tree. SAVATREE.com. Save a Tree. Tell them Rob sent you.
Speed. Power. Legendary. This is May in Indy. Start your engine. It's passion and drama. History and tradition. On their feet. Victory and defeat. He will not catch it. Joseph Newman goes back to back. This is the Indy 500.
Get tickets for the 109th Indy 500 presented by Gainbridge at IMS.com.
This is May.
Discover cancer care that empowers you at Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center by offering the expert, compassionate care you need.
When I was at my lowest, I would have 2 or 3 nurses come in to give me a pep talk. telling me it's okay to feel this way. It's normal, but you have us to support you, and you will get through this.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Trying to broker the second part of a peace deal. Radar showing some spotty snow showers. Cloudy and 15 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. The Trump administration is moving ahead with plans for the future of Gaza. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio meeting with the president of the United Arab Emirates, where a State Department spokesperson says the discussions included, quote, the remaining challenges in Gaza. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has appointed Ron Dermer to lead ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas. The former Israeli ambassador to the U.S. has strong ties to President Trump. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
A federal judge is declining a request from 14 attorneys general to temporarily ban Elon Musk from accessing data at 7 federal agencies. 14 states asked for a restraining order to block Musk's Department of Government Efficiency from firing employees and gaining access to sensitive records. The group of attorneys general argued that the power granted to Musk by President Trump is unconstitutional. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Well-changing question. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? High taxes can erode returns quickly, so you need a tax-optimized portfolio. At Creative Planning, our money managers and specialists work together to make sure your portfolio and wealth are managed in a tax-efficient manner. It's what you keep that really matters. Why not give your wealth a second look? Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present voicemails.
317-684-8444. That is the phone number with your voicemails. Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Have you seen that cake is like half gone
Is
now?
it really? I just ate my piece. It's really good.
So if you missed it, Kurt Darling's last day is today.
Mm-hmm.
We had we commissioned a cake for him. My dear friend Marilyn and her. Look her up right now if you want. If you want the best when it comes to cakes and cupcakes, Custom Cakes by Marilyn, Facebook, look it up, and you can see all the information. At Robin Kendall on Twitter, I posted the photo. Casey did as well. Casey Daniels 317. She made the most phenomenal cake for Kurt, and I think the favorite thing was, and she came up with this herself, was the tagline that she put.
No, she did. You didn't tell her to say that.
No, she did that herself.
You're like kindred spirits, you guys.
She texted me. She goes, "Is that all right if I put this? I didn't think you guys would care." I said, "No, that'll fit in perfect with
that
our."
Actually made the cake.
So yes, it's a good luck finding better coworkers.
That's how you know it's from us.
So you can see that, and like if you're in the business of needing somebody to make something for your big event, she is absolutely the person to go with. And like people are just taking handfuls of that cake back there.
Yeah.
And
shoveling it in.
Almost none left when I went to finally get a piece. But anyway,
good.
Go ahead. Voicemails.
So this first phone call, the question always comes up, where does the money go?
That's right.
And this first phone call is about the Hoosier lottery money.
Listen, I haven't heard you talk about what happened to all the school money, talking about the property tax. What happened to the school money from the Hoosier lottery? There was one that was touted to be going toward the schools, you know, and the stuff they're getting. Where's that at? Why aren't they counting that? They're not counting none of that. They're just counting our property tax. And I'm a retiree, and I'm on a very fixed income, and they're killing me. They're almost forcing me out of my home.
So my dad and I were having this conversation yesterday because we were talking about Musk. We were talking about that money he's saving with Doge. And I said, well, one of the problems is, they claim he's found $55 billion. I'd like to see a list, by the way. I've not seen a list, a verified list where somebody can start investigating. I know they make these pronunciations.
Right, these big claims.
But I maybe you have seen it. I have not. Some running tab of who's out, how they saved this money, what they did. But let's take it on face value. I said if he's at $55 billion now, he might get to $100 billion by the time it's all said and done, which is great. But I said in the comparison to when you're $36 trillion in debt, and the Republicans are proposing this reconciliation budget that adds another $4.5 trillion, so we'll be well over $40 trillion in debt. $100 billion is nothing. Like I'm not saying it shouldn't be done. Any 1 penny, if it can be saved, is worth saving. But that's nothing. It's not the Republicans are actually continuing to add to the problem, even with Musk in there. And it's the same thing with the state, which is, yes, Braun went in and mandated all these cuts to state government. But if you look at the actual state budget, what is it? It's like $46.7 billion. That's a $2.7 billion budgetary increase from the one that Holcomb signed a couple of years ago. So while Braun is cutting state agencies, the actual spending
keeps going up.
What are we getting for that?
Yeah, nothing. So the U.S. debt clock has added a Doge clock on there, by the way.
And by the way, I keep getting asked about this. They are not going to ask me to do Indiana Doge, right? Like we got to explain this to people, how this relationship operates. Okay, I am not on the phone every day with Braun and his people. I may talk to them once or twice a week, usually via text message, and that's fine. And everybody's holding up their end of the bargain on things, but like they view me like a cartoon character, Casey, like some guy who does a magic trick every day and they can't figure out how it works. They're not bringing me into their orbit. They're not going to be like, here, we hand the keys of state government over to you, young man.
Right.
Good
exactly.
luck. I mean, I would be the best person for it, but that is not going to happen.
I have to imagine that person would have to go through some sort of vetting, some security clearance.
Well, there would be nobody. If you wanted to save money in the government, nobody did that better than me, and nobody would be better at that. But they're not going to bring Cousin Eddie in. They're not going to.
Oh no, because that would be something that the state party would get done.
Oh yeah, and they. By the way, my caveat to taking that job, and I guarantee you, I could find $4 billion. But the caveat would be every penny goes back to the taxpayers. No more we're reallocating.
I heard rumors about that last night that Doge was saying, $5,000 going back to every taxpayer.
You could do that. The problem is it's already printed money. All this money you're saving has already been printed. So, you could, but then you're just adding to inflation. I thought the premise of doing this was to save against the national debt. But the same premise exists here, and you're seeing this with the HIP stuff, the HIP reforms we talked with Merritt about earlier, which is you can trim that, and they are, but until you're willing to take a hatchet to it, you're going to continue to have this problem. It's the same thing with the Republicans and their budget. Until you get into Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid and start really drilling into these third rail issues and are willing to take some political heat to fix the thing, as the Republicans are proving, you're not going to fix the system because they're adding to the debt.
Trump did go on and he started reading that list of all the people that they had uncovered. They said they had uncovered millions of people that are on Social Security rolls who are no longer alive, or they're really, really old. Like, I mean, what was it? There was over 3 million people that were over 120 years old. And Trump said that he wants to end the waste, fraud, and abuse. There was somebody that was over 200 years old.
Are you implying they may not be alive? Is that your...
Yes, that's what I'm implying.
Real quick, let's address this. So Vic says, the guy that takes a nap after working 3 hours every day is not going to be our Doge guy. Sorry, Rob. I take a nap after working 3 hours every day. First of all, to be clear, I go home and watch like Chris Hansen and Unsolved Mystery reruns, then usually take a nap. Okay, let's get it.
Get it right.
Let's get it right. Right. And I mean, like today, I did State House Happenings. I got to do the sports betting podcast. I do that because I can and can be number one. And like, what am I going to be more number one if I spend an extra 9 hours on it? Like, I'm good enough at this that I can do it in my sleep now. When I was an elected person, I lived in that thing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There was no napping. That's why I had to get out of it. It was driving myself crazy.
There was no naps.
There was no There was no naps.
There's no napping in government. Well, I don't know. It's debatable. Let's move on to another phone call. This person had an encounter with an elected representative.
Yeah, hey, it's Turbo Dave from Broad Ripple and Lenora area. Yeah, it was funny. I see this guy all the time. It's a state representative, license plate number 8. Older guy, got a handicap sticker in the window. I saw him this morning driving down Meridian, so I gave him the thumbs down. And the next stoplight, he gave me the bird. Thought you guys would like that. Not sure who license plate state representative number 8 is, but they gave me the bird.
They were just telling him he's number 1.
Good for that guy. You got to tell these people when you see them out in public how much they suck.
Thumbs
they
down.
need to know by any peaceful, law-abiding means necessary.
And another phone call, this one about the street plows in South Bend, or in SB1.
Hi. It was so funny about when he was talking about, we might not be able to plow your streets. And it occurred to me that they don't plow the streets anyway, so that would be like the quintessential empty threat. Like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because they're not out there anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and he represents Indianapolis. So it's like after the train wreck of how your mayor handled this, for you to get up there and act like it's already getting done anyway, give me a break.
Somebody wanted to call and give their opinion on Representative Gaskell.
Hello, everyone. Yes, Mike Gaskell sucks because I live in this area. He acts like his other locals. Our local government, too, has increased our property taxes 30, 40, 50%. So, Mike, wake up. There's a problem now. Don't kick it down the road. Give me a break, dude. You just don't want to do the work. And that's what's wrong with these people. They're too lazy to think too hard about it and do the work and make cuts like they need to. No, put it on the back of the citizens. So everybody needs to vote that dude out because he was the one that stripped all the stuff out of it. Thank you, Mike Gaskell. You suck.
Speaking of Mike Gaskell, so he's the one who got up there and bitched about how bad property taxes are and the local governments are, right? And then was like, I'm voting for this bill that emboldens local governments.
I encourage everyone to support this.
Yeah. So speaking of Mike Gaskell, I think we're going to call him next for Hammer's Lion Dude segment.
Is that it?
I think that's our award-winning
he drew
senator
the short
today.
straw today. All right, we'll do that coming up from 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel Show back at it 3:06 this afternoon. Tony Kennett of the Daily Signal and the Tony Kennett Cast. He'll be our guest. We'll talk a little and a lot more. 93 WIBC.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Don Fisher here for QC Kinetics. I want to share with you the best thing I've done for my knee pain. I've been hearing commercials about the groundbreaking treatments that QC Kinetics offers for months. Meantime, my chronic knee pain had hit an all-time high threshold. I wanted to stay active and enjoy playing golf again without the pain. So I decided to call and book an appointment. And what I found out was that QC Kinetics is the non-surgical solution. I have no knee pain and feel like I did 10 years ago. And it's all because of the non-invasive therapy from QC Kinetics.
Discover the solution to joint pain with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. For a free consultation, call 463-282-6886.
I'm back to playing golf and enjoying life. Take it from me, this is the best call you can make to relieve your orthopedic pain.
For your free consultation, call QC Kinetics today. 463-282-6886. 463-282-6886.
Are you thinking this year I want to look and feel better and get my hair back? We Grow Hair Indy can help you do just that. I'm Rob, and I got my hair back at We Grow Hair Indy. Here's Darren Andrews, clinic director, to tell you why I chose them.
For nearly 20 years, we've helped thousands of clients grow their hair back, and we can help you. We're one of only 2 places in the entire country to offer the ARTIS robotic FUE and multi-unit hair grafting.
I got multi-unit hair grafting. I love the results and cannot believe how much hair I got back. I can't recommend them enough. Call right now, 317-522-2995 for a free evaluation. Great technology, great company, great people, great results. Go to WeGrowHairIndy.com, see my results, and call 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Don't you want to say, I got my hair back?
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance to buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-239-1749. 800-239-1749.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. It's just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
During tax season, your info travels lots of places you can't control.
W-2 arriving from payroll platform 3.
Everything criminals need to steal your identity is on your W-2.
Last call for accountant at home office. 1 minute.
LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second.
Tax preparation data centers with service to IRS. All aboard.
If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Kevin, won't you put me on through? Gonna call up one of these lying dudes. Hurry up, put me on the line. I want to hear this weasel tell more lies.
Oh, here we go. It is time. Jason Hammer in the studio from the #1 rated Hammer and Nigel program. It's time for Call-In Lying Dudes, huh?
So each day, if you're new to this program, maybe you're new to this segment, we decided to go down the list of people who were on the committee, Indiana, senators that were on the tax committee that had promised, people like us were going to get some sort of tax relief terms of property taxes. And they basically just kicked us in the junk and gave us a middle finger.
That's correct.
They moved it forward. One guy said, well, I hope the House can fix it. Another guy was like, yeah, I don't like this one either. But they moved it forward, and they acted like they couldn't do anything. So
there is an actual amendment process where all of them could have offered amendments to fix the thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like one guy that was not in the tax committee was Senator Mike Young. He's the only one that's actually trying here.
He voted no for it, too, by the way.
So we've been going down the list of people who are on this tax committee. One by one, you set them up, we'll knock them down one by one, and we're trying to see if they want to come on the radio with us, because when our listeners, mine and yours, have reached out to these liars, all they've said is, well, it's complicated, I don't want to talk about it on an email or a direct message, call. So, all right, we're going to call their bluff here. So we've tried to call a couple of these dudes.
It hasn't gone well.
We called out to Scott Baldwin.
That's right.
Who I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, has financial gain of this thing not working.
He runs a construction management company that does a lot of construction projects for government entities, schools, and government entities that are paid for with property taxes. So, yes, he voted to screw you and protect the people that do the projects that his company makes money off of.
Not shady at all.
Oh, no, all above board.
Yesterday, we tried to call the guy who authored the bill.
That's right, Holdman.
Yeah.
Yes. Senator Holdman.
And we got Transfer-a-Palooza. Nobody could transfer us to the right thing.
I think we got
place.
stuck with a Papa John's at one point, like a pizza delivery.
It's going exactly as we thought it would go. And part of what we're doing here is we're showing you, because the first lady, Baldwin's lady, unless she is some sort of court reporting flash type of person, didn't write a single thing.
She said she was going to take a message, right?
Yeah, and there's no way she wrote any of that down.
I've yet to hear back, by the way.
And you did not. And then we gave a phone number yesterday for whoever we finally got on the 5th try. And we have not heard back. We gave the radio station phone number after we finally got through to someone. So today, we're going to call Mike Gaskell. Now, Mike Gaskell, what is he? He's
the Assistant Majority Floor Leader for Parliamentary Affairs.
District 25. I think that's
25.
Hamilton County, Madison County. He's the Einstein who got up and lamented that property taxes exist, right? He was mad about property taxes existing. He was mad about the bill. And
Said they were too high.
Yeah, and said the schools are like the local governments are not spending money properly, but then voted to continue to raise taxes on people and embolden the local governments.
Again, these committee guys that complain about it and say that stuff, they've got the power to change it.
That's right.
But they don't want to. So we're going to call up Senator Gaskell here.
Yeah.
Do we have the number, Kev? Let's go ahead and fire it up here.
You know, Kevin's the real hero in all this. He's got our phones suck, and he's got to properly execute our phones.
Yes, he's the real MVP. And I will say the receptionists and the secretaries at the State House have been pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. We're in. Kev has done the first part correctly.
Got a little mix.
Indiana State Senate, how may I help you?
Hi, my name is Jason Hammer. I'm on the radio right now on 93.1 WIBC, and so are you. We're trying to get a hold of Senator Gaskell because we have a question about property tax and SB 1.
Gaskell? Yes, let me connect you with Colin, his assistant, and I'll transfer your call. One moment, please.
Thank you.
Now, these ladies have been great.
They have been.
They must have a big list. She's like looking down. Oh, Colin.
Colin. This is Colin.
Again, great customer service so far.
Indiana Senate, this is Colin.
Hi, Colin. It's Jason Hammer at 93.1 WIBC. I'm live on the radio right now. So are you. We were trying to get a hold of Senator Gaskell because we had a question about SB 1.
Yeah, sure. You're calling. I'm the legislative assistant for Senator Gaskell, so I'd be happy to try to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Number one, we were wondering, because we heard his speech on the floor yesterday where he mentions that, property taxes are out of control and government school spending's a little high. Why did he still vote to push this thing through? That's one question that I have.
Yeah, we also want to know if he's very concerned about local governments being out of control. Why did he vote for something that continues to allow local governments to raise property taxes?
My question is, why did he not move to put an amendment in there to put the rate reset back in the bill?
Yeah, so a lot of questions there.
Sure.
Basically, the short answer to all of those questions is we're trying to balance two competing goals really with this bill: is real property tax relief for Hoosiers and also not completely bankrupting the local government units, right? I mean,
wait, is it Colin? Is it Colin?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
So Gaskell's theory is if Braun's property tax reset, you're going to bankrupt local governments?
Excuse me. First of all, I want to preface, I don't want to speak for the Senate, just general talking points that we have in the caucus. And I certainly don't want to speak for the senator.
Is the senator available? Can we speak directly to him?
Not at this moment, no.
So is the Republican Senate caucuses, is that their position that if Braun's reset is put back in place, that it will bankrupt local governments?
No, I wouldn't go that far. I'd say there would be a significant fiscal impact on the local government units. And that's really undeniable. Now you can argue whether that's a good thing or bad thing. I think Hoosiers are certainly fed up with their property taxes increasing year over year. But I'd like to point out just the whole property tax reset. We ran into some constitutionality issues with that bill in the Indiana Constitution. So that's a major reason why that certain part of the bill was taken out.
What specifically, you ran into some constitutionality. What specifically did you run into?
Again, I can't speak specifically on legal matters. I'm not an attorney, but what I can say is that it was regarding a court case that made its way to the Indiana Supreme Court, the State Board of Tax Commissioners versus the town of St. John. So that's really as far as I can speak, adequately on that issue. But I just know from our policy team that was a big issue with the reset component of the bill.
So Colin, I just want to make sure we understand that Travis Holdman, who's the head of the tax policy, wrote a bill that was unconstitutional. He had months to write it. He wrote that bill. He put it out on the floor. And then once he put it out on the floor, he's like, oops, I wrote something that's unconstitutional.
I don't work for Senator Holdman. I'm not sure if he was the one that wrote the language of the bill.
He's the author.
Well, the way I understand, sir, is that the bill came from the Braun administration, and that's kind of that was the genesis of the introduced language, as far as I understand.
Do we know who in the Braun administration sent that?
I do not, sir. No.
Colin, how long have you been with Senator Gaskell?
I'd rather not respond to that question, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, Colin, you've been the best by far. So thank you for your time, man. Appreciate you answering some of our questions.
Yes, you actually answered questions and came on. So hat tip, Colin. Thank you.
Not a problem. Have a great day.
Okay, so there we go.
So now they're saying that, and that's bull crap, that Braun wrote the bill. Travis Holdman is the head of the tax committee. He put the bill forward. He's listed as the author, and now their whole thing is, it turns out it was unconstitutional.
Rob, do me a favor. Text Micah, because I know you got his contact. Find out who exactly wrote it, because I got a feeling we may be being fed some lies by some lying dudes.
And that guy was very nice, and he's just a guy answering the questions, and you feel bad that he has to carry water for these
He's not the guy
stooges.
you should beat up on.
No, and he was very nice. But I mean, you see, and by the way, there's a million different ways they could get around that. If you wanted to, if the goal was reset, expand the homestead credit to 90%. Like, I'm just making something up off the top of my head. If you actually wanted to do it, there's a million different ways you could do it. But that was the most productive we've been so far.
We reached somebody.
Yes, we did.
But again, I want everybody to listen, like the big picture here. This is what your lawmakers do, right? They go out of their way to try to screw you.
Yeah.
Right? They had one job, give tax relief to the most amount of Hoosiers as possible.
Yeah.
And instead, schools are getting more money. You've got dudes on here who are going to get financial gain by having businesses and schools built with property tax.
That's right.
Money coming into his bank account.
This is a great segment. I'm glad you came up with it.
Thank you. We'll try another one tomorrow.
What are we doing today? What's going on?
This afternoon on Hammer and Nigel show, Tony Kennett will join us. Biggest stories of the day, and we'll talk about Marion County. Is it a lost cause? Can somebody be the leader of this party? And
everybody be nice to Colin. He was just doing his job.
Yes,
yeah, that's true.
Colin answered the phone when everybody else would have been like snarky and a pain in the butt.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Hammer. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hi, I'm Charlie Comer from Comer & Cross Premium Garage Floor Coatings. If your garage floor looks bad with stains, cracks, and pits, it makes your entire garage look bad. And a bad epoxy job or chipping paint makes your garage or basement look worse. With one quick call to 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, I can save you $1,000 on a new Comer & Cross garage floor or basement floor during our winter sale. A Comer & Cross concrete floor coating is the gold standard. Guaranteed. A Comer & Cross garage floor won't chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. What's the Comer & Cross difference? We make it so easy. We move your stuff out for you. We fix the cracks and pits perfectly. In one day, you will love your gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor or basement floor just in time for spring. Call us right now for $1,000 in savings during our winter sale. Operators are standing by now at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to COMERcross.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
Tune in to the Absolute Retirement Planning Show.
When retirement comes about, we're now relying on what we have saved to meet those needs.
Sundays at 9 a.m. right here on 93 WIBC.
This weekend, everything is 20% off, including gas grills, wood pellet grills, and the Big Green Egg and accessories at Sullivan Hardware and Garden and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
Coming up in 2 minutes, how this morning's snow impacted the commute for several drivers. Ryan Hedrick has the story. Plus, a man threatened Elon Musk on the platform that he owns, and why this Indiana National Guard soldier has wound up in jail in Boone County. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios after Fox News Radio at the top of the hour. You're listening to 93 WYBC, WYBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Ukraine's president has done a terrible job. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump just posted that minutes ago on Truth Social, calling Volodymyr Zelensky a dictator since his term ended and elections are on hold in Ukraine. The president also says Zelensky better move fast, ending the war with Russia, or he won't have a country left. This is the day after President Trump said even though Russia invaded nearly 3 years ago, Ukraine's to blame for starting the war, being too late negotiating.
I could have made a deal for Ukraine that would have given them almost all of the land. Everything.
Zelensky said earlier today President Trump is living in a Russian disinformation space. And here's a question the day after U.S.-Russia talks on ending the war without Ukraine involved.
Maybe there will be a face-to-face meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin and President Trump. And maybe there won't be. That's what Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said when asked if such a summit could take place this month.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Fox has learned the president may hold his first cabinet meeting a week from today as another nominee testifies at the Senate.
President Trump has united a new coalition of working-class Americans like never before.
Lori Chavez DeRemer has just said at her confirmation hearing to be labor secretary.
They are calling for action, progress, and leadership that puts the American worker first.
A federal judge has questions in New York City where Mayor Eric Adams will be in court today. So will the Justice Department, as to explain why it's trying to drop a federal corruption case against the mayor.
Charges of bribery, fraud, and accepting illegal foreign campaign donations from Turkey. Acting Deputy Attorney General Emile Beauvais says the case should be dismissed because it interferes with the city's mayoral election this year and harms the mayor's ability to govern the city. But former New York prosecutor Daniel Sassoon refused to drop the charges and quit. She and critics accused Adams and the president of making a corrupt deal.
That's Fox's Eric Shawn outside the court. New York's governor is considering removing Mayor Adams from office. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Some of it was carnage. It's cloudy, some spotty snow sticking around on radar, 15 degrees downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Icy roads don't excuse bad driving. Ryan Hedrick explained.
That's the message from Indiana State Police Sergeant John Perrine, who said there were over 90 crashes along Indianapolis highways on Wednesday morning.
If the roads were at fault, everybody who drove on them would crash. And so it's people's driving behavior, and certainly the people are going too fast for these conditions.
Brian says the crashes didn't just hurt the drivers, they put others at risk and caused unnecessary delays. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A man from southern Indiana is in jail accused of threatening Elon Musk's life on X. State police say they were contacted by authorities in Texas about threats to kill Musk made on the social media platform by David Cherry. He was tracked down in Clarksville and arrested. He's charged now with intimidation. A bill passed by the state Senate on Tuesday may end up kicking thousands of people in Indiana off of Medicaid. The bill is an effort to address the state's Medicaid funding shortfall.
We're spending more on Medicaid alone than the percentage of our total revenue.
State Senator Ryan Mishler, who wrote the bill, it would impose work requirements and cap the number of people who can enroll in the Healthy Indiana Plan. An Indiana National Guardsman is facing charges of child exploitation and sexual misconduct with a minor. Jacob Burns was arrested last Wednesday for possibly recording himself having sex with a 15-year-old girl after using Instagram to connect with her and meet up in December. 3 losses in a row now for the Purdue Boilermakers. They fell to number 14 Michigan State 75-66 last night in East Lansing. It wasn't the amount of turnovers committed by the Boilers, but the points scored off them by the Spartans.
A couple got away. I got to do a better job of taking care of the ball in the first half. I mean, I think the
couple were questionable, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's life on the road, and I got to do better.
Purdue point guard Braden Smith. The Boilers now are in a bad way as far as the chase for a Big Ten title is concerned. They face Indiana in Bloomington on Sunday. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
It's like being trapped in a cage. And I know that sounds dramatic, but your breathing triangle problem has got you trapped. And once you're freed, you're going to be able to live the life that you're missing out on. Now, this can simply mean experiencing the true pleasure of breathing freely. It will mean better sleep and more energy. And the worry of this problem any more affecting your life is going to be gone. Because in almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it's a one and done. Because we're not in the business of delivering Band-Aids. We want to fix your nasal breathing problem for good. We don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Isn't it time you break free from that cage? Take the next step. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Tell your husband I'm not doing any more Trump Tad impressions. That's it.
So last night, I don't know if you watched the Hannity interview with Trump and Elon Musk. Just out of nowhere, the dude says, Tad! Tad! And I said, yeah, Rob hasn't done the Tad bit in a while. And now today, it's nonstop. So if you're getting a request to do an impression.
I felt like it was a cameo. I did it for him. You filmed it and sent it to him. And he's like, it made my day. So for those of you who are not longtime listeners of the show, when Trump was running for president this past time, he did an interview with Rogan. And Rogan asks him
He asked him about the history of the White House, or what it was like, his impression when he first got into the White House during his first term.
Yeah, somewhere we've got the audio of this. I don't know how easy it would be for Kevin to find it. Maybe not easy at all. Don't worry about it if not. But, like, Rogan asked him a pretty straightforward question, like, what was it like when you got in the White House? And you think the canned answer is going to be something like, man, I was just in awe to see the paintings of all the presidents.
The history. And
Trump gets on some just like laser-focused obsession over the Lincoln bedroom and how Lincoln's deceased son has a little picture in there. And he starts talking about, like, his name was Tad. He died. Lincoln was, well, they didn't call it depression back then. They called it melancholy. Melancholy. His name was Tad. He died. And, like, every 20 seconds, he would come back to this tiny picture of Tiny Tad.
And Rogan's just trying to change the topic and move on. Yeah. But Trump would not let go of it.
And I've said one of my favorite things with Trump, and I don't know if he's such a great entertainer. I don't know if he does it deliberately or not. He will, like, explain obvious things to you. Like, any person who is at all versed in history knows Lincoln had this son. He dies while Lincoln's in office. It's clearly this profoundly impacts Lincoln and his wife. And Trump is telling this to Rogan as though, hey, you don't know this.
You've never heard
He
this
had a
before.
son named Tad who died, Joe. And so, yes, it's kind of become a on and off little bit we do here on the show.
Well,
so
somebody yesterday in the YouTube chat put Tad, all capital letters, exclamation points. So every now and then we have to have you say that just to entertain us.
Trump tweeted out, or I guess it's Truth Out. I don't even know what you call it on Truth Social Media. I guess it's Truth Out. He just went crazy on Zelensky, and it's glorious.
Well, Zelensky accused Trump of being influenced by Russian disinformation. They're talking about approval ratings. Trump said that Zelensky's was down 4%. Zelensky stated, no, you're looking at the wrong survey. This one shows that I'm up at 64%. So this is just a little back and forth.
But think about this. So what? It's been 4 years now. We've put hundreds of billions of dollars behind this country. We have absolutely nothing to show for it. We have made things like energy and oil more expensive for our own citizens, in addition to the printed money we've handed them. A bunch of it, we have no idea where it's at. And all this guy can't even just say, thanks, please help us end this war, and we will accept the terms of the agreement because you've done so much for us. Thank you. He's acting like we owe him something.
Well, right. And yesterday he was saying he wasn't going to adhere to any agreement that the United States made with Russia.
And my response to that, if I were Trump, would have been, okay, well, good luck. Goodbye. Thank you. Call France.
So Trump is saying that they need to have elections in Ukraine, even though they're under martial law, which prevents them from having
Okay, Casey,
elections.
This is
according to Ukraine's constitution.
This is kind of a long one. Do you think I can read the whole thing in the Trump voice? I mean, it's really good.
Yeah, you're going to have to take a big breath before you go.
Okay, Kev, so I don't know if you remember
Work
this.
that diaphragm.
But if it's longer than the clip, you just start the clip over again. I'm going to try to get it done inside the confines of the clip.
Yeah, just loop it over.
Just loop it over, but I'll try to get it done. I think we'll need the Whitney crescendo at the end, so you can slide that crescendo up to hit the thing at the end.
Okay.
And this is an oldie but a goodie. We have not done this in a long time. For those of you who are longtime listeners, you know, Casey, did you know I once interviewed the president?
It was a great dream.
It's his words.
He wished all interviews could be like that.
His words, not mine. Yes, and so as such, because that kind of helped relaunch my radio career after I'd left politics, and as a tribute to that, we read, it was Twitter back then, but now The Truth, we play Whitney Houston's "I Will Always Love You" as the backing, and then I read it. That I picture the voice in Trump's head as he's typing it out on his cellular telephone.
Okay, so this is Donald Trump, and he's talking about Zelensky from Ukraine.
Yeah, it's a long one. We'll see if my voice holds out.
Okay, here
Are we
we go.
ready? Here we go. Think of it. A modestly successful comedian, Volodymyr Zelensky, talked the United States of America into spending $350 billion to go into a war that couldn't be won, that never had to start, but a war that he, without the U.S. and, quote, Trump, will never be able to be settled. The United States has spent $200 billion more than Europe, and Europe's money is guaranteed, while the United States will get nothing back. Why didn't sleepy Joe Biden demand equalization? In that this war is far more important to Europe than it is to us. We have a big, beautiful ocean of separation. On top of this, Zelensky admits that half of the money we send him is missing. He refuses to have elections, is very low in the Ukrainian polls, and the only thing he was good at was playing Biden like a fiddle. Hold on. I have good news, Casey.
Yeah? There's more?
He kept going. He refuses to have elections. It's very low in the Ukrainian polls. And the only thing he was good at was playing Biden like a fiddle. A dictator without elections. Zelensky better move fast, or he is not going to have a country left. In the meantime, we are successfully negotiating an end to the war with Russia. Something all admit only Trump and the Trump administration can do. Biden never tried. Europe has failed to bring peace. And Zelensky probably wants to keep the gravy train going. I love Ukraine, but Zelensky has done a terrible job. His country is shattered, and millions have unnecessarily died. And so, it continues. Dot, 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 dot.
Wow, that was a long one, huh?
Just let it go, Kev. Just for one old time's sake.
He needs to rest his voice for a second. So he said Biden was played like a fiddle.
For the old-timey listeners, the dot, 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 because on Twitter, remember before he had the more characters, he couldn't get it all in on Twitter. He'd have to do the dot, dot, dot to get to the next tweet. So for our long-time listeners, that was a throwback, a tribute to today's gone by on the old programs. How about that? That was pretty good, wasn't it?
That was great. You did a fantastic job. Thank you very much. Wonderful performance. Was Biden played like a fiddle, or did Biden play the American people like a fiddle?
Well, that's a great point, right? I mean, clearly all of this money, much of it is unaccounted for. You have no idea where it went or whose hands it ended up in. And absolutely that was done by design. I mean, that's without a doubt, without discussion. A lot of people in Ukraine probably got rich. A lot of people in America probably got rich. Hundreds of millions ended up in the hands of that FTX guy who basically laundered it into donations to Democrats. So that is one of the best tweets or truths or whatever Trump's ever done. That country is gross. Zelensky is a scumbag. It makes me want to puke that we have given them all of this money. And good on him for saying what needs to be said.
Sounds like he's trying to, if nothing else, move him out of there.
Well, it's over, right? I mean, it's over.
By saying, hold elections.
It was always going to end the way it was going to end, which is Russia is going to end up with more land than they started with. Now, you can negotiate, is it this much, is that much? What are the safeguards? Are we done here? But this is how it always goes. 10 years from now, we'll be right back doing it again. This was stupid to ever get involved in this, for the U.S. to have any involvement in it whatsoever. All we did was piss off a country that we have economic and ties in terms of fighting global terrorism with.
And spend a lot of money.
Exactly. It was stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. Do you want to talk about Chili's or KFC coming up? Pick your restaurant.
Why not both?
Oh, okay. It's 93 WIBC.
The currency of Washington. Politics.
They've got to stop playing politics.
Power.
He just wants power.
Posturing.
What a stupid question.
And I'm going to cut through the nonsense and let you know what is really happening in D.C. this week at CPAC 2025.
He'll talk to the newsmakers, power players, and maybe even find a little common sense.
Stranger things have happened.
Getting the answers that matter to you.
Because somebody's got to do it, and you have a life to live.
Tony Katz, live from D.C., Thursday and Friday on 93 WIBC.
It's tax time, and tax time is your time to buy a new Nissan and get double your tax refund or down payment only at Andy Moore Nissan of Indianapolis. For a limited time, when you buy any new Nissan, Andy Moore Nissan will double your tax refund or down payment up to $5,000. That means your $1,000 becomes $2,000. Your $2,000 becomes $4,000. Your $4,000 becomes $8,000. This month only, Andy Moore Nissan will double your down payment up to $10,000. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Good credit, bad credit, even no credit. Our credit experts will get you approved with the best terms, with as little as $0 down on any new Nissan in stock. Andy Moore Nissan is making deals other dealers won't and approving deals other dealers can't. Andy Moore Nissan, 4302 Lafayette Road, Indianapolis, Indiana.
About getting back to your best. Lack energy, muscle mass, feel moody, or have low libido? It could be signs of low testosterone. Know your T levels. Get tested. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, may be the answer. The true experts are at Low T Center, and everyone's different. Don't settle for a standard dosage TRT program.
Get personalized treatment at Low T Center. For current patients, Low T Center offers a $150 referral credit when you refer a new patient. LowTCenter.com. Book that appointment today. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Book your custom patio project before March 1st and save up to $2,500. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, red, baby.
Remember when this was like all over television?
Oh, yeah. Big campaign ad.
Yeah.
I could never sing it. I could never keep up with it. But there's a person who says that she wants to leave the country because of the new Chili's ad.
Oh, there's a new Chili's ad.
There's a new Chili's ad, but first, let's listen to this lady.
I think I have to get out of America. I just saw a commercial that was my breaking point. It's a Chili's commercial. It's not even a political ad. It's just a Chili's commercial, and I'm losing my mind. I think I have to leave. I don't think I can be a part of this world and this culture. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is because of a Chili's ad.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that's real.
Oh, it's totally real. You want to know what the ad is?
Sure. What is she so upset about?
Okay, so Chili's is...
The 3 for $9.99, isn't that the thing Chili's
No,
does?
they're talking about one of their margaritas, and it's called the Presidente.
Oh, yeah. It's like a big one, like a big boy.
So
It's
here...
like a fishbowl-sized margarita.
Yeah, here's part of the ad.
This is a song about a cowboy who needs a break from the chaos of this modern world and just wants to ride the Dente. The Dente is a world-famous Presidente margarita at Chili's restaurant. It has a newly redesigned shaker that's tasteful yet fun. Chili's wanted to reintroduce the Presidente margarita to a NASCAR audience, but that was pretty complex, so we came up with the catchy line. Ride the Dente. Ride the Dente.
What?
That's it.
Is there something more?
No, that's it. Ride the Dente. That's their campaign.
You're being played. There's no way that woman is that upset over a Chili's ad.
Well, I think what you're missing here is that it was called the El Presidente,
Yeah.
Ride the Dente,
Uh-huh.
and it's a cowboy,
Yeah.
and they talked how they wanted to reintroduce it to their NASCAR fans. You know, Donald Trump, the president, was at the NASCAR. It's all tying in. She
What
said,
are you no, I don't understand. What are you talking about? How
she's
does Donald
saying
Trump...
that it's not political, but she's reading into it that it is political.
What?
Yeah, because
I mean, look, I get the world is filled with lunatics and people who should not be walking amongst, normal, decent members of society. But I don't even understand how you could even make the so because Trump was at
NASCAR,
and this thing is called
the Dente, Ride the Dente,
which existed before Trump was the president.
Right, and they wanted to reintroduce it to NASCAR fans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why she wants to leave the country.
This is the sort of person who we should help her. We should send her to Gitmo and just let her hang out there for a while. It would be fine.
She'll be really glad to be back
Absolutely.
in the country, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what's going on with KFC? What's happening?
Oh, they're moving.
They're moving?
They're moving.
They're all over the place. What do you mean they're moving?
They're moving their headquarters from Kentucky to Plano, Texas.
What?
Yeah. So
KFC is moving. Kentucky Fried Chicken
is moving to Plano, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas.
No, I'm sure they're doing this because they're getting some sort of tax break, would be my guess. Because
they say that the Pizza Hut Global is already located in Plano.
Oh, yeah. So they're owned by the same people that own Pizza Hut. Is it Yum? It used to be Yum.
Yum Brands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And to achieve sustainable growth and improve service for their customers, their employees, their franchisees, and their shareholders, it will enhance their competitive advantage.
You know what the problem with the KFC is they got rid of all the KFCs with the buffets. You don't see many of those anymore.
Yeah.
That was where the value was the buffet.
So So they're not going to change their name, but it just does seem a little odd that Kentucky Fried Chicken will no longer be in Kentucky.
Now, do they still have the KFCs and the Pizza Huts together? Remember, they had that for a while, where you could go in and you could just pick one side of your restaurant you wanted, whatever you wanted. I don't know. Is that still a thing? Do they still do that?
I haven't seen any, but I'm not sure. I'm sure some exists somewhere, right?
Kentucky Fried Chicken's not going to be in Kentucky.
So I wonder isn't the big stadium in Louisville called Yum?
That's right, the Yum Center. You ever been to the Yum Center?
I've never been. I mean, I've been by it many times.
Have you ever been in the Yum Center?
I haven't been inside, but didn't you see Bruce there?
I did. I was in the third row. I was down there in the third row. It's kind of garbage. I wasn't really. I mean, they're all those college basketball arenas are kind of the same. I mean, there's not much to it. I mean, places like Gainbridge get those renovations, but other than that, I mean, you're on the floor. I'm on the floor at a concert. What difference does it make for me with that? Okay, so does Hammer know? Has Hammer been told that the KFC is leaving Kentucky? Because he's very big on going to the KFC museum anytime he runs through.
I've been to that one too.
You've been to the KFC museum?
It's pretty cool. It has
I've been there too. It's like a museum as well.
Yeah, because they have a like section where you can go back and see Colonel Sanders' old bedroom, and they have like his old bed there.
What are you even telling me?
Yeah,
it's like a museum,
and all the different buckets over time.
Yeah,
and buttons that you could wear, all sorts of.
You're telling me at the KFC museum there's a recreation of Colonel Sanders' bedroom?
Yeah, he used to live in the back
kitchen?
of the place.
Oh, this place.
Yeah, you're talking about it's also a KFC.
Yeah, that's the place Hammer goes.
Right. Yeah, you can eat
Oh, it's where he lived.
It's the very first KFC.
Oh, that's cool. So he lived in the back of the KFC?
Yeah.
That's awesome because I lived in the back of the radio station when I owned a radio station. I can appreciate that.
There's a life-size statue of Colonel Sanders there that you can pose with, too.
Yeah.
Huh.
And the bucket actually spins on the sign outside.
You know, as someone with experience with this, you've really bottomed out where you live, the place that you work, right?
You think
wake
so?
Up, no, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's a lot, though, to live where you work because you wake up and you're at work.
You never leave.
No, you never leave
You're
work.
always
I mean, you got to
working.
really love your work. Real quick, before we get to break.
Yeah.
There's no way that Bonnie Blue chick is pregnant, right?
No, she came out and she said that her kid would never be bullied at school.
But did she say I'm pregnant?
She didn't say she was pregnant. It's alleged that she's pregnant. So Bonnie Blue is the porn star who famously slept with over 1,000 men in a day.
No. She didn't sleep with 1,000 men. If you're given
she engaged.
There were 1,000 men who engaged in some sort of related behavior with her, but that's not sleeping with because it was like we did the math. What did we come up with? 40 seconds a guy or something?
Yeah.
That is not. She gamed the system, but she did engage in some sort of connection with over 1,000 men. But she's now people are claiming she's pregnant.
It's alleged that she's pregnant. She did come out and she said that her child would never be bullied at school because the kid has over 1,000 different dads.
She
never did admit that she was.
Thank you. She's an entertainer.
Pregnant.
She would say it, and you have to listen to what they're saying. And I have experienced women of low moral standing, and you gotta listen to every word they say because that's how they do. They manipulate.
So everybody's asking, of course, who's the daddy? Well, I mean,
nobody. She's not pregnant. There's no way, given what she does for a living,
she's just doing this for more attention.
That she would allow her. There's no way. She has to be fully aware of how that works and how that happens.
Yeah.
And there's no way that
she would protect herself from that.
There is a possibility. What is that guy? There's some guy that rolls around with her. We think that's the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being that guy?
Handler / boyfriend.
We don't know if he's the boyfriend. We speculate he's the boyfriend. Now maybe he's the father if there was some sort of planned whatever. But no way. I don't believe this for a second. I think everybody's getting played.
Many people are saying that if she is in fact pregnant, the baby would have many middle names. Somebody else said that she could name the baby after the father, Battalion, like within an army.
Okay,
battalion
just
of
for
men.
the point of this radio show, I don't believe she is pregnant.
Okay.
But how would you figure it out?
Well, obviously you'd have to do some DNA. But then again, I mean, she didn't even have releases from all of the fathers. which is
all
why
of the fathers.
Well, all of the men that she engaged with, because OnlyFans took it down, saying
right.
that she didn't even have the proper paperwork, like the names and the ages of all of these men. They couldn't prove that they were all over 18. So, like, she's going to be like one of these people, hey, do you remember back in May of 2024?
You know, this is how
9 months later, you're the dad.
This is how Freddy Krueger was born, you know. Something kind of similar to this.
Yeah.
Look at how that worked out for him.
Nightmare on
Well,
Elm
yeah.
Street.
I mean, I'm not. I don't believe it for a second, though. I don't.
She's just trying to get more publicity.
Yeah, totally. No way.
She's really good at getting her name out there.
Well,
and
she sure
trending.
is, Kevin. She's good at getting a lot out there.
She's good at marketing.
She's also gross.
She's got it all out there.
She is just a complete sea urchin, and everyone should just ignore her.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Are you thinking this year I want to look and feel better and get my hair back? We Grow Hair Indie can help you do just that. I'm Rob, and I got my hair back at We Grow Hair Indie. Here's Darren Andrews, clinic director, to tell you why I chose them.
For nearly 20 years, we've helped thousands of clients grow their hair back, and we can help you. We're one of only 2 places in the entire country to offer the Artist Robotic FUE and multi-unit hair grafting.
I got multi-unit hair grafting. I love the results and cannot believe how much hair I got back. I can't recommend them enough. Call right now, 317-522-2995 for a free evaluation. Great technology, great company, great people, great results. Go to WeGrowHairIndie.com, see my results, and call 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Don't you want to say, I got my hair back?
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The Blame Game. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Police blame bad driving for the 90-plus crashes in Indianapolis this morning.
We had to call troopers in who were on days off today. We've allocated some manpower from other areas that typically don't patrol the roads just to help.
State Police Sergeant John Perrine says you need to give yourself more time to reach your destination. If you cause a crash, you could get a ticket. IMPD says a rideshare driver was picking up 2 teenagers from an apartment Monday when 2 people tried to carjack him. IMPD Sergeant Amanda Hipschman tells Wish TV the driver was shot, but able to call for help from a nearby laundromat.
Our detectives are working hard to determine not only exactly what happened here, but to find the individuals responsible for this.
They're using technology to help with that, too. Another teenager was shot, but survived. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Here's how Tax Rise saved Yvonne over 99% on what she owed the IRS.
I got a letter from the IRS saying that I owed $69,000, and I had no idea what to do. That's when I contacted you guys.
Our tax professionals at Tax Rise jumped into action. They helped Yvonne file her back taxes and get into compliance, but they didn't stop there. They negotiated directly with the IRS to fight for her case.
Effective immediately, the IRS has accepted. All they want in return is $100.
Thank you guys so much. I can't even explain how grateful I am.
We're so happy we got Yvonne the relief she deserved. We've helped thousands of clients find solutions to their tax problems, and we're ready to help you. To find out if you qualify for a tax relief program, call TaxRise today, 888-829-0991. For a free consultation, call 888-829-0991, 888-829-0991.
Results vary, not guaranteed, uncompensated testimonial. TaxRise is not IRS affiliated or a law firm. If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numbness, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Matt Schulke, chiropractic neurologist and board certified in neuropathy. What is neuropathy?
Neuropathy is nerve damage in the feet or hands.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
Absolutely, and we get amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, pain, or balance issues, call Dr. Schulke today for a free nerve damage screening. This screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for their specialized treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Simply call 463-400-3338. Act now. Call 463-400-3338 for your free nerve damage screening. 463-400-3338.
If you used to hear a whole lot of this,
but now you can barely hear this. You need to check out RelayIndiana.com and Captel, the caption telephone. Captel allows you to get your groove back when using the telephone. It uses voice recognition technology so you can read on a bright screen what the other caller is saying. Go to RelayIndiana.com and add clarity back into your conversations with Captel, the caption telephone from Relay Indiana. Visit RelayIndiana.com now.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis is everything that's right about Central Indiana. They've been locally family-owned for 50 years, helping our local economy remain strong by employing 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis is proud to do business right here in the great state of Indiana. They're a conservative-minded company that shares our values and stands by their products and services. You can call Garage Doors of Indianapolis today for service today. 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
Did you go see that Zeppelin documentary yet?
I actually haven't, no.
Is it out?
It is out,
isn't it?
It's not in IMAX anymore, though, unfortunately.
Regular theaters.
That's where I wanted to see
I thought
it.
you were going to go with your dad.
Been busy, Casey.
Gotcha.
I live a very, very hectic life.
I know. You're a superstar.
Well,
everybody wants time with you.
You know how I am about leaving my house.
Oh, there's that too.
I mean,
or paying for things.
I was pondering that yesterday. I went to go get my wife dinner, and I was.
Did you go to Arby's?
No, she likes. She doesn't eat the garbage that I eat. My insides will rot so that she and the baby can have nice things.
Mm-hmm.
She gets much more upscale dining than I do, so I'm bringing it back, and I thought, I almost never leave my house after 2 p.m. It's weird being outside.
Well, because you're busy watching Unsolved Mysteries or whatever the show is that you watch, and then you nap.
Well, okay, in fairness. So like today, I've got to finish editing State House Happenings. Then Hammer and I got to do the betting show. I probably won't get home until 2.
Sure.
Or after.
Right.
Then, a couple hours after that, got to get my kid from daycare. And then I got a parent for a few hours.
Right.
Until she goes to bed.
Yeah.
Then by the time she goes to bed, it's almost time for me to go to bed.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's the existence that I live now.
Okay.
I went from out till 3 to 9 o'clock, baby.
That's what dads do.
Good night. Don't ever get old, Kevin. Okay. So you have not seen the Zeppelin documentary yet. It looks pretty good. I mean, at this point, though, I'm almost entering the phase where it will go to a streamer of some sort.
Right, before you'll
soon.
get out and see it.
Right. So I might as well just wait. I'm sure I'm paying for one of these streamers that will air it. So I might as well just save the $9 or whatever.
Right.
What does it cost to go to a movie now? What is a movie?
I would think it'd probably be $12 to $15 for a ticket.
What?
Yeah, I think so.
You're just talking about the ticket?
Like the middle of the day. I want to go at
the middle of the day would be cheaper for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to go to I've been to one movie in 10 years, and that was that Elvis movie a couple of years ago.
And that was worth it.
No.
That was a bad movie.
Horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah.
No, it was like they just made... Here was my beef with the Elvis movie. There was an Elvis's life was interesting enough that you didn't have to make things up, and they just blatantly made things up that never happened. It was like Elvis was interesting enough.
So between $6 and $10 for the matinee.
Okay.
12 to 16 for adult evening shows.
How much?
12 to 16. This is on average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. Well, no, I'm probably just going to hold out at this point then. And anyway, I don't even know how I got on that or why. Did you have something you wanted to talk about?
Well, we were talking about how KFC is going to be moving to Plano, Texas. And Kevin and I have both been to Corbin,
the museum,
Kentucky, the museum.
Where Colonel Sanders lived.
Where he lived. And I was looking through some of my pictures, and there's a couple sayings they have on plaques there in front of the old kitchen and the old bedroom. And one of them from Harlan Sanders is, one has to remember that every failure can be a stepping stone to something better.
What is it?
One has to remember that every failure can be a stepping stone to something better.
Yeah, that's just something people say when you've lost to make yourself feel better.
Here's another Colonel quote. It's
not funny, Kevin. It's true.
They call it a Colonel quote to live by.
Oh.
Hard work beats all the tonics and vitamins in the world.
Oh, I see what he's saying there. Like,
just eat right and
sure.
Take
he didn't
care
exactly
of
look like the epitome of physical fitness, did he? And he
not really.
He started a company called Kentucky Fried Chicken. This was not Kentucky Smoked Salmon.
Do you think they probably weren't using seed oils though, right? But it's
good old-fashioned grease case.
It's older when they use the word tonic.
Uh-huh. That's an old-timey phrase.
Unless you're saying gin and tonic.
You were telling me that Colonel Sanders is from Greenwood? Is that right?
That's what I was saying. He's not from there originally, but I guess he moved there when he was like 12 and lived there for a year or two.
No kidding. Huh.
These are things you can learn in the museum.
I used to drive past the exit for that all the time because you'd go up, is that 75? That's 75, right? Or is that 64? One of the two. Anyway, when I'm on my radio station, I'd go. That's the path I'd go, and you'd go right by the Corbin exit there, the big sign for the Colonel Sanders Museum. Never went.
You should go because I believe it's the Cumberland waterfalls aren't far from there, and those are beautiful.
Sounds like a lot of work.
No, it's really not, Rob. It's really not.
I mean, I got to get in my car. I got to go. I got to go to the things.
Well,
I got a little tiny human that I take with me. Have you ever? You've had a tiny human. You've had to corral a tiny human.
Yes, I know what that's like.
The attention span of about 3 minutes.
Have you ever had to make an emergency stop with her in the car?
No, she's good in the car.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's what I can't figure out.
We made an emergency marker stop, like when she was a little older than Olivia is now. Like, I did not bring the proper entertainment, and we were on a long road trip, so we had to make an emergency stop.
No, she's
markers.
great in the car. Here's what like actual physical markers.
Yeah, like crayons, markers.
What I can't figure out. May says that Livy is so well behaved at daycare, and she's a complete tyrant when I get her home.
Well, that's what you want. You want her to be better behaved.
Yeah, she's always very well behaved
for
in public.
other people.
But why is that? Why does she do that? Does she recognize these are my parents? I can just act however I want to act with them? I don't understand.
Because she feels safe with you. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
She acts like a maniac because she feels safe with me?
Yes, she can
let me abuse my poor parents who are good to me,
it's because
who love
she
me?
can let her frustrations and emotions out in front of you, and she knows she's got to hold it together in
Who
front
live
of
this
May-May.
life of poverty so I might never want for anything?
Yeah.
And that's the thanks that I get? Really?
Yeah, it's actually, I've been told it's a sign of good parenting.
No kidding.
That when your child is good for other people, but for you, they get a little bit more rambunctious. That means they feel free to be themselves and let their frustrations and their emotions out for you.
Yeah. I told her I'm keeping a tab of all the money she owes me. And then someday we'll cash that back in.
You got an email?
I did get an email. Josh sent us this email, and he apparently somehow, I don't know if he infiltrated or was given access to the Westfield Public Works building. And, we've laid out all the fun, free spending that goes on in Westfield, right? The $12 million tennis courts, and they're planning on building that 10,000 person open air arena. And if you've been through Westfield, they're not sparing any expense. And he wrote me an email about Westfield, and I thought it might be fun to read this on the air. So when you're told about the suffering and the public safety and the firemen and the police and the snowplows and the street lights and we've moved on to that now with that dumbass Greg Taylor. Just keep this email at the front of your thinking. And if someone from Westfield government would like to refute this email, we would love to have them on the show. We have so many questions for them. We would love the opportunity to converse more about this. All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
I got a chance to see behind the Westfield Public Works building the other day. I was stunned to see the amount of brand new Chevy Silverado 2500 HD trucks they have. I counted 17.
Wow.
Some with plows and some without. All of them parked and not being used. The value has to be over $1 million. I could see 3 to 5 new trucks, but 17? And that's just what I could see. I don't want to hear about firemen being laid off if property tax relief comes. Also, if you see the new mail trucks, which are more like vans, they're Mercedes vans. Is that true? Not Chevy or Ford, but German Mercedes vans. Ridiculous. Imagine the upkeep cost on those. Stop the spending. All right, so we're gonna do a couple exercises here. I'm gonna Google the price. What is it? A Chevy?
That's what I was just looking for.
Chevy Silverado.
It looks like
2500 HD cost.
43,000.
43,000. So can you multiply 43,000 times 17? That would give us a ballpark of what of what one might go for?
$731,000.
Well, and by the way, here's one I'm seeing for $57,000.
Oh.
$130. Now, we don't want to aim high. We don't want to be accused of, I guess it's what sort of, here's one for $82,000. I guess it's what sort of bells and whistles you put on them. But let's just go low, right? So what was the number?
43.
43, and what was the total?
Oh, the total, $731,000.
$731,000 they had on new snowplows. Were there no used trucks, working used trucks that were available? The auctions have very nice automobiles, usually available at quality prices. Is that true that the post office has Mercedes vans?
Yeah, I've seen that as well. And, the U.S. Postmaster just stepped down, by the way. This after reporting billions of dollars in losses.
Does the post office have...
In 2024, the post office recorded a net loss of $9.5 billion. In 23, it was a net loss of $6.5 billion. And the new truck cost average is nearly $60,000 per unit.
Oh, yeah. Here's the thing. Why does the USPS use Mercedes-Benz vans?
So the federal government, I guess you could say, has invested nearly $2.9 billion in new trucks for the post office.
Yeah, Mercedes, it seems like a very upper echelon vehicle for an organization that is in real financial trouble. Also can't get the packages to people. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Yeah, they're having real problems there. But, I've got one idea.
And by the way, let me preface this by saying I have the greatest mailman in all the world. Justin is the best mailman who ever lived. And so I'm in no way indicting the hardworking people of the post office. I'm just saying the Mercedes Benz van seems like a bit of an upscale purchase for an organization in financial trouble.
Right.
Right? And they are having problems getting the packages to people.
They are. The U.S. Postmaster just resigned yesterday.
Could be a great job for you.
To what?
Run the post office.
You think so?
Yeah.
I've got an idea of how they can inject some money into the post office.
And?
Put Trump's mugshot on a stamp.
That is a great idea.
People would buy that.
All right, we got to take a break.
Yeah, it's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel Show back at it 3:06 this afternoon. Tony Kennett of the Daily Signal and the Tony Kennett Cast. He'll be our guest. We'll talk a little and a lot more. 93 WIBC.
Hey guys, it's Rob for my friends at Universal Windows Direct. Yes, right now, Universal Windows Direct has a Love Your Windows sales event. And what that means, for every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 windows free. See how simple that was? So like if you need 4 windows, you'd only have to buy 2. If you need 10 windows, you'd only have to buy 5. See, public school math paying off. Oh, and on top of that, 0% financing for 36 months. That's right, 36 months of 0 interest financing. Now, some restrictions do apply. So in order to get all the information, you got to call today. 317-659-7574. 317-659-7574. And while you're calling to get all the information, go ahead and schedule that totally free in-home estimate. And by the way, if you already received a quote from another company, bring it to Universal Windows Direct, and they'll beat it. See everything for yourself. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. 317-659-7574. Tell them Rob sent you.
Hi, I'm Charlie Comer from Comer & Cross Premium Garage Floor Coatings. If your garage floor looks bad with stains, cracks, and pits, it makes your entire garage look bad. And a bad epoxy job or chipping paint makes your garage or basement look worse. With one quick call to 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, I can save you $1,000 on a new Comer & Cross garage floor or basement floor during our winter sale. A Comer & Cross concrete floor coating is the gold standard. Guaranteed. A Comer & Cross garage floor won't chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. What's the Comer & Cross difference? We make it so easy. We move your stuff out for you. We fix the cracks and pits perfectly. And one day, you will love your gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor or basement floor just in time for spring. Call us right now for $1,000 in savings during our winter sale. Operators are standing by now at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to COMERcross.com.
Attention.
If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text MAIN to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text MAIN to 321-321. That's MAIN to 321-321.
Speed. Power. Legendary. This is May in Indy. Start your engine. It's passion and drama. History and tradition. On their feet. Victory and defeat. He will not catch it. Joseph Newman goes back to back. This is the Indy 500.
Get tickets for the 109th Indy 500 presented by Gainbridge at IMS.com.
This is May.
Kendall and Casey.
I'm a young, up-and-coming professional. We are people who want to work. We want to engage. We don't want to be freeloaders. And yet, it makes it very hard for young people to actually do that.
Kendall and Casey, 9 till noon on 93 WIBC.
You're a young, up-and-coming professional who doesn't understand how the roads work.
Well, somebody sent me a message, and I was trying to decipher what they were saying. Somebody who knows cars and automobiles said the reason the post office, because last segment we were talking about listener Josh sent us a message on how the city of Westfield has all these brand new
Silverado trucks.
Yeah, that are like somewhere between $43,000 and $90,000, depending on what bells and whistles they got on them.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we're led to believe police or firemen could be fired if you get property tax help. He counted 17 of them. So we did the math. At the bare minimum, that's probably like $770,000, probably closer to $1 million. But then he got on a rant. We just read the whole email about the post office having Mercedes-Benz trucks. And I said, given the financial straits of the post office, I couldn't imagine why they'd have Mercedes-Benz.
Mm-hmm.
But then one of my buddies who knows automobiles said the reason is there's only apparently 2 manufacturers in this country that make right side
driving, steering.
Right.
Yeah, and Mercedes is one of them.
Right.
And you had a hard time understanding what that meant.
Well, I guess it never dawned on me that the mailboxes are on the opposite side, the way the roads are constructed in this country. Yeah, you would never be driving.
Mm-hmm.
You would never be driving that way. That makes
sense.
And
you were trying to argue with me.
No, I wasn't arguing with you. I was just trying to process what you were saying.
Okay.
Because it never dawned on me until just now.
Yeah.
That it's always.
That in the mail truck,
yeah,
the driver's side is actually on
That's
the right.
Correct. So that does make sense. So maybe that is the reason they went with the Mercedes, the Mercedes-Benz, because maybe they have to. Maybe it's just not a prevalent thing.
There's just not anything else available.
That's what we do. We expand the horizons. Think about somebody at a water cooler today who's going to wow their coworkers with that.
Did you know that the mail truck steering wheel is on the right side of the truck? They're going to be like, yeah, everybody knows that.
Can we thank a listener for this little present I got? I'm going to get so much fun out of this.
Yeah.
We had a listener who dropped this off. You can see it on the YouTube chat if you're in there. and it is a Sue Finkham for Carmel mayor sign. And there's so many things now that I can do.
You're going to get a Sharpie
with
and
the sign. Well,
make some edits?
I was thinking you got nicer handwriting than me. I was thinking maybe like in a white Sharpie because it's a purple background. Maybe we could like put Spendin there, and then we could start having some fun with it. Hammer said, and I think this is actually a great idea. If we can get that Spendin there, one of these upcoming shows for an hour, we just turn the camera on the sign and just leave it on the sign while people watch the YouTube feed.
And just leave it there.
I'd kind of gotten bored with her and her antics, but then when they did that deal with the police and fire and gave them the raises, now I'm back.
You're back.
Yeah, now I'm interested again.
Okay.
I mean, I had said on the air, my goal is to break this goofy mayor of Carmel for her testimony in that Senate Bill 1 hearing. And I was getting kind of close, and then I got bored, and now I'm back on it because that makes me mad that she went through that big charade.
Well, she did say public safety was the number one priority in Carmel, and she made sure that she lived up to that by giving them contracts and
more days off
and raises and more days off.
You'd think if you were fearful of having to fire people because of property tax relief, that you wouldn't be giving raises and enhanced days off. You'd think you'd be like, all right, everybody hold tight for a bit here. We got to see exactly what goes down. But she was really quick on the trigger there to go ahead and do this deal, so she's locked into it. So I guess you can sleep easy in Carmel knowing if you get property tax relief, your public safety
is also okay.
Yeah, will in no way be impacted.
Right.
Really takes away that kind of argument that they threw out there during the SB1 hearing. By the way, let's go back to, I know we got to go here in just a minute. When we called Gaskell earlier, Mike Gaskell during Hammer's Lion Dude segment. And Colin, was that his name?
Colin.
He was very nice.
He was.
Imagine now what their excuse is on why they won't give you property tax reform. That they wrote and presented a bill, because keep in mind, Holdman is the head of the tax committee. You would think he would know a thing or two about taxes.
That's what, unconstitutional?
Yeah, now they're trying to say, well, we found out part of it was really? You had all these months and you're that inept that you would present a bill that is so unconstitutional you had to change it? But you notice they're not trying to make good. They're not like, okay, well, we can't do that. Let's do this instead. And it doesn't explain if you were doing that with the resets, why you would yank the homestead credit.
So we had the schools, we had fire, police, we had snow plows, we had street lights.
That's
now
right.
we have it's unconstitutional.
That's right. This is your government at work.
I can't wait to see what tomorrow's answer is.
Do you know how much they hate us? Do you know how much those people down the street hate us? Because we, not only do we point out what complete hucksters and fraudsters they are, but we do it in an entertaining way that people want to hear every day. And it's working. And that's what pisses them off. It's working. So, yeah, I think tomorrow we got to try to find a white Sharpie or something to put spend in there, and then we'll just make it we'll just put the camera on it for an hour.
Okay. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for listening today. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
It's always hunting season at the 27th Annual Indiana Deer, Turkey, and Waterfowl Expo, February 21st through the 23rd at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. It's the largest hunting expo in the Midwest, featuring outfitters from around the globe and the latest hunting, archery, and waterfowl gear. And it's on the final 3 days of the Ford Indianapolis